Hey there, students. So you might be asking yourself, Mark, what's the goals of marketing communication? Like in all these things we're doing, why do companies do all this marketing? Why do they have the advertising? Why do they have, the PR stuff? Why do they do all that personal selling? What are the reasons behind it? And so what I'm going to talk about today are 5 main reasons why companies, or what are kind of the goals companies have with their marketing communication. And one of the big ones just in general is to build awareness. I mean, people need to know that that product exists. They need to know that that sale is happening. They need to know that Culver's now has extra cheese curds. There's just building the awareness of maybe our products we have on offer, our value proposition, a new sales plan, maybe a new opening time. It's just about letting people know, just building that awareness of our product, because people don't know your product exists. Does it actually exist? No, because no one's coming to buy it because they don't know about it. So that's the first thing, building awareness. Second thing you might see, and you see this a lot in PR, public relations, is building a positive image for your brand, for your service, for your product. Because you think about it, firms go out of their way to really build like a positive, healthy image of their product or of their company, because they know that people usually don't want to buy stuff from the bad guys. I mean, think about it. When the good guy wins in the end, you're like, yay! But if the bad guy wins, you like walk out of the movie, oh, Thanos won. Oh man. No, you have those kind of things. And so what we're trying to do with our marketing communication is to build that positive image. So that's why we might train our sales staff to be more friendly, to be more helpful, figure out what customers really need so they can have a better experience. So it's like, wow, they really cared about what I wanted to buy. That's why you go to Best Buy. You walk in like, hey, how can I help you? What are you looking for? Let me help you. And they try to figure out what product works best for you, because it builds a positive image in your mind that, wow, they're trying to help me make the right purchase. That's really cool, okay? Now, the third thing you might look at in terms of a goal is, well, probably kind of also a big one, is attracting potential customers. Now, there's building awareness, yes, letting people know that your product's there, like, oh, the movie's coming out, okay, I know it's coming out, but attracting potential customers is getting them, basically letting them know the value proposition and inspiring them to actually buy. This isn't, hey, coming out next month, it's, hey, buy your tickets now. Go to the restaurant now. Go pick up this tasty cheeseburger, okay? And so you look at that, and so we're trying to figure out is how can we communicate to our customers to get them, to attract them to come buy, okay? So it could be looking at where we put our ads or the kind of ads we do use. I mean, that's why when you see a Butterburger ad or a cheeseburger ad, they always show someone, oh, taking that bite in there, and they're just enjoying it, like, wow, that attracts me because, oh man, it looks so good. So you have those things. Another thing you might see in terms of a goal of marketing communication is actually building better channel relationships. Because think about it, for companies, they have a lot of people in their supply chain. And when I advertise, I'm not always advertising just to that end customer. I might be advertising for the store that's going to sell my product. I mean, think about it. Coca-Cola advertises to that end customer, so the end customer wants Coke. But the grocery store that's going to carry Coke, the vending company that's going to have Coke, the gas station, they see that like, wow, that marketing communication, that ads and stuff like that to the end customer is making them want it. Actually is helping us. Thanks, Coke. That's really nice of you. But also sometimes you use the advertising to build a better channel relationship, because you might advertise directly to your actual next step of your supply chain. So it might be that Coke will advertise their stuff or sales or whatever to a gas station chain, things like that. So you can do it that way as well, okay? Because the thing is, we want to make sure we're sharing information with our supply chain so everybody knows. So if we're going to have a sale, we let everyone in the supply chain know so they can plan accordingly. So the gas station can have more space for that extra, special on Coke, and the grocery store can have a special for Coke, and the advertising team can know these things. So you want to make sure you're doing that to build better channel relationships. And the fifth goal, I'd say, for marketing communication, I mean, there's more of them, but the fifth one I want to talk about is retaining customers. Look, you're doing this marketing communication. You're talking to the customers because you want to build that relationship, right? And the stronger relationship you have with your customer, the more likely you're going to retain them. They're going to stay with you. It's like a relationship. If you talk to your boyfriend and girlfriend or partner more often, it's more likely your relationship's going to stay. When you don't talk to each other for a week or two, it's hard to retain that partner, right? So you got to think about these things. So we might have marketing communication goals that are really specifically focused for retaining those customers. So it could be we have a marketing communication that deals with a loyalty program. Or we have it telling about deals we have. Or it's maybe like a car company. If you buy a new car, they might call you after a week, say, hey, how's it been the first week? Then after the first month or the first 3 months, are you still enjoying that new Ford Expedition you have? These kind of things help you build that relationship and retain those customers, okay? So that's just a quick little video on some of the goals of marketing communication. There's a lot more out there, but I hope this gives you a little idea to start off. And if you're using this to study for an exam, I wish you good luck no matter where you take it. Bye. Hey there, fellow marketers and advertisers. Professor Wolters here, and today what we're going to talk about is how advertising and marketing can work together to help promote our products, okay? Because when advertisers are setting out to make their ads, there's a lot of different things they have to think about. Like, are we going to be setting up our ads in order to get people to notice our product? Or are we going to get it to have people remember our product? Or are we going to have our ads out there to get people to buy our products? And you've seen things out there. If you're looking at movies, right? They'll say, oh, hey, there's this movie coming up. Hey, buy tickets now. Hey, don't forget when it's released. There's different focuses of our advertising. And the thing is, advertisers, when we're looking at marketing, one of the big things we want to consider are the value propositions that our products and services have. So if your product is offering something special, this could be something we're advertising for. Hey, we now have 30 minutes or less delivery on our pizza. Okay, that's something we could focus on. That's a value proposition to people. Are you tired of getting cold pizza? Well, now our super fast delivery gets it there even faster and piping hot. We can advertise that and do those things. And if you look at it, if you look back in the 80s and stuff like that, Volvo was great in terms of advertising the safety of their cars, right? So we're educating people about that value that people have, of the safetiness of it. If you look at Chevys, they always talk about their JD Power rankings, right? And so what they're trying to show is that value proposition. Look at our, quality awards that we have, so people know that there's those things that we're offering. Jimmy John's, freaky fast delivery, right? Their whole advertising campaigns about that value proposition that they're offering. So you kind of have those things in the back of your mind in terms of what we're really going to deliver. We can advertise on that. And that's why it's really important that advertisers and advertising students, love you all, miss you, they actually need to think about those 4 P's of marketing. Remember, product, price, place, promotion. Coming back to you a bit, because think about it, we could have ads that focus on the product, right? We could talk about how sleek and beautiful my new Samsung phone is. Ooh, look, it's now in color. Wow, you can do these things. Or we could be looking at price, right? We could talk about the prices we have. Hey, this week only, everything is half off. We could focus on that in our advertisements. Other things that you might look at is in terms of the place. So we could say, hey, this is exclusively available at Target or exclusively available at Walmart. We could be advertising those things, or only in a cinema near you, or this weekend on video on demand. Check out the newest movies. You have those kind of things you can focus on. Or we could talk about promotion. We could help people know that they could promote their stories, for example. Like, hey, where did you want to go for spring break? Hashtag Wolters World, and let people know. We can do these kind of things. So there's kind of things you can think about in advertising of why you really need to know those 4 P's, because it can give you ideas for your ads and what to focus on. Because by doing that, what we're trying to do is get people to know those value propositions, what makes our products and services special, so hopefully they'll go out and buy them, okay? That's why it's really important that you have your ads kind of set up so they're at least covering some of the basic areas so people know about the product or how to buy and things like that. And I kind of look at it in terms of the question words, the what, where, when, how, these kind of things. Because you think about it, if you have your ad and you're thinking about the what, well, what am I selling? Isn't that the product? Isn't that the value proposition? These kind of things, we can lay it out. Talk about the actual product or the actual service, what you're going to get out of it. That whole with them, what's in it for me, you want to have that there. Because the problem is, if you have an ad and people aren't sure what is really being sold, you can have some confusion, and that ambiguity gets people not to buy. Like, is that commercial for a hamburger? Or is it for the guy's hair gel? I'm not really sure what it's supposed to be about. And that's sometimes where companies have difficulties when they're using, spokesmodels and spokespeople and stuff like that. Because do you remember Michael Jordan drinking that Coke or eating that Big Mac? Or do you just remember Michael Jordan? Right? It's like, wait, I want them to remember to go to McDonald's and buy that Big Mac. So you have to think about those things, right? Now, the next question we're going to have is where. You might want to say where people can buy it, right? So the old Arizona jeans exclusively at JCPenney's, that's what we're talking about, the where kind of thing. only at your local theater. Well, there's that. Oh, where? I got it now. I understand. So you might want to put that in there. Another thing you might look at is when. When is the movie released? When can you get that DVD, or when can you get it on video on demand, or when is the newest Galaxy or iPhone coming out? You can advertise based on that when, that date kind of thing. And also you want to make sure you're putting in the who. Who is selling this? Who is this for? Who's putting this out there? That's why they'll talk about the car. They'll say it's the Ford Mustang at your local Ford dealer. Okay, that's who's selling it. I got an idea here. And the thing is when you're looking at all these question words, you can't answer them all well, you could answer them all in one ad, but who's going to watch a video that long? You have to think of the people you're advertising to, right? And so you might see that some ads just say aware. Another one talks about the when. Another one has the what. I remember back when movies were really big, and they'd have the ads on YouTube that would be like a fight scene, and then like I'd watch another video and there'd be another pre-roll ad and they'd be like, oh, coming May 1st. I'm like, oh, May 1st Avengers, got it. And so there was a when, there was a what, at your local theaters, at theaters only. There's the where. You might split these things up that way, okay? Because you don't want to end up like me. I remember one time I flew back to Chicago and I saw this poster out there for Bruce Springsteen, and I'm like, oh, on the billboards, right? I'm like, that looks so cool. Bruce Springsteen live? Wait, is he live? Is it I wasn't sure if it was a new like DVD or as a new album, or if he was actually playing live in Chicago because it was by the Rosemont. So I'm like, well, maybe he's playing at the Rosemont, or I don't know. Because the ad left it so ambiguous, I didn't know what it was. Concert, DVD, CD, song. I didn't know where it was. Where do I buy it? Nothing like that. I just knew who. Oh, Bruce Springsteen is doing something. Okay? So you want to be careful with that, because we don't want to leave people confused about what we're trying to sell or what we're advertising. So that's why I think it's really important that you really focus on that. And when you put together your ad, know that, hey, what is that selling point? What is it that's going to get people to buy or get interested in possibly buying in the future? This is something you want to kind of think about when you're developing your ads. And this is why advertising and marketing, we're really tight, close cousins. That's why I love my advertising students. I hope you all are doing well. Anyway, I hope this helps you get a better idea of advertising and marketing and how we kind of work together to help promote our businesses or services or our nonprofits, all kinds of things. Anyway, I'll see you later. Bye. Hey there, fellow marketers and advertisers. Have you ever told someone that you're an advertising student and they say that you're a marketing student? Or you say you're a marketing student and people say, oh, you're learning advertising and telemarketing? It can be a bit frustrating. And the thing is advertising and marketing actually do have a lot in common, and we do actually fall under the same umbrella a lot of times, but we also do a lot of different things as well. And so what I want to kind of talk about today are some of those areas where advertising and marketing do cross over, and why it's important for advertisers to actually know a bit about marketing. And the thing is, as an advertiser, what you have to realize is when you are advertising to consumers, to those end consumers, you really need to answer their potential questions. So we have to research, what is it people want to know? Hence why advertising, people learn marketing and research and stuff like that, because you have to go out there and see is, what are those questions that people have? What is the thing that's most important to them? Because if you're talking about, oh, we have the cleanest restrooms in town, well, when I'm looking at a restaurant, I'm not really looking at their bathroom, I'm looking at their food. Now, if it's a gas station on the highway, I like to know who has the best bathrooms in town. Buc-ee's, by the way, if you're in Texas, just letting you know, okay? And so you have to think about those things. So think about it. If it's a university, what do people want to know about a university that they might study at? They want to know the rankings, like how good are they? What's the job placement? Where am I going to live? Another big one, what's the food? I mean, that's what you talk to people in recruiting for universities. They'll see people want to know, what am I going to have for eating? You know, what's out there? Like, what's the Instagram saying? You know, university food. They're asking about those things. And so when we do that research, we find out that's what's important. So that's what we have to talk about. If you look at the Twitter feeds and Instagram feeds and stuff like that, two different universities, they'll show you, hey, their pictures will be, here's student life, right? They'll show you what it's like to be a student there. They'll put in the numbers like, hey, we're number 2 in this degree and we're number 5 in this degree. They'll put that in there because they know and they've researched and they found out that this is what's important to them. And so we need to know that so we can advertise and make our advertisements based on those things, okay? If you're looking at a restaurant, what does a restaurant will need to be focusing on? They're looking at the quality of the food, so that's why you see all those pictures. That's why though restaurants are kind of upset that people take longer to take those pictures and it's harder to get people through, they know that they need to have that Instagram picture of our great food because they know someone will see that and they might be inspired to go eat that food and come back to my restaurant. That's why I always tell restaurants, I'm like, hey, teach your staff how to take good pictures of food. So when people ask them, hey, could you take a picture with us or of us? You can have the two people there looking happy, but also get a good shot of that food as well. So it's like, oh, I got one of all of you and I got a good one of the food. So there you go. They might share it. It might help grow and advertise your brand more. So you have to think about those things. And the thing is, this can go for any product. If it's a video game, it's going to be about the graphics and the gameplay. If it's a movie, it's about how funny it is or how adventuresome it is. You got to think about these things. What is it the client really wants? What's in it for me with them? We have to think about that when we're developing our ads. And so we see sometimes marketers get a little upset with advertisers because in advertising, a lot of times when I've worked with this, it's about creativity. Let's have some fun with this. Let's show our creative side, which is awesome. You want to do that. But we also have to realize is we still have to make sure we're answering those inherent questions that customers have, because a confused customer doesn't buy. I mean, think about it. If someone gives you a box and calls it Boogly Woogly, you're going to buy it? I'm like, I don't know what Boogly Woogly is. Oh, there was an ad about Boogly Woogly. I'm like, yeah, but I don't know what it was. They don't buy it. And that's why you have to be careful when you make your ads, and it doesn't always make sense. Like I saw a Subaru ad once and a whale was jumping over the car. I'm like, wait, so if I get a Subaru, whales are going to jump over my car? I mean, I understand it's a humor side of it, but I don't see how that's a benefit of why I would do that. I mean, it was funny, don't get me wrong, but we have to think about it. Is it tying into something? And sometimes, like, no, I just want to grab attention, so I'll do something funny, which is fine. And we have another video that talks about that, but it's just something you want to kind of think about. Because we all know ads that we've seen, and we weren't sure what the target was, what the point of that ad was, like what were they selling there? You don't want to have that. The old "Where's the Beef" commercial back in the days from Wendy's, and we're talking back in the days, like when I was a little kid. Like the thing was, the ad, everybody had the "Where's the Beef" t-shirts, and we knew where's the beef, where's the beef, where's the beef. But I have to think about what chain was that for? You know, you have to think about these things. And so that's where you got to be careful. And so we start to think about some common errors in advertising that you do see out there. One of the big things you have to think about and not mess up is you see people that actually, they're not thinking about the media that they're going to use, okay? I've seen billboards, like I'll fly into O'Hare and we'll drive home and we'll go on the highway going around, and there's these big billboards, 80 feet up in the air, 100 feet up in the air, whatever, and it's like this small text. I'm like, wait, I can't read that. And I'm going 90 miles an hour. I'm not going 90 miles an hour, but the other people are going about 90 miles an hour, so I'm driving carefully. What am I going to look up? Like media that way, and then they're like small font. Like, who can read that? It looks great on your computer screen, but does it look great when it's in situ, when it's in place? And so that's what you have to think about. Wait, if I'm going to do an ad on a billboard, I need to make it really quick. Like, I'll put the McDonald's arches with a Big Mac and fries, and I'll say exit 147. Okay, or exit 147, turn right. That's all we need, because people know McDonald's, they know the sandwich is there, they know where to turn off. Got it. But if I sit there now, McDonald's is new Impossible Big Mac with this no meat additives and all that information, people can't get that. We have to think about those things. How's it going to be showing up? Another thing is, have you ever gone on a website that's not mobile friendly and you're like, oh man, I can't read this, and try to zoom in, zoom out? I mean, I know for my work, we have this thing called Compass. It's how the students can get their grades and things like that. And God forbid you try to use that thing on your phone. It is impossible. Okay, like, oh, can I get the menu? Can I get the menu? No, I can't, because it's not mobile friendly. You have to think of that way in your ads. Does this work in a way that it's going to help? Because let's be honest, are you really going to memorize that website? Or are you going to memorize that phone number when you're driving by? I personally like back in the day when QR codes were big, and they would put QR codes on the billboard. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be on the highway going whatever miles an hour I'm going to go. I'm going to take out my phone, which is illegal in my state, and then I'm going to take a QR code picture of it from 90 miles, whatever. Seems cool on your computer, and it works on a computer screen, but not on a billboard. So we really have to think about the media we're going to use, okay? Another big mistake you might see is a confusing focus. Well, that's where people aren't sure what the main point of the ad is. This goes into when you're using spokespeople, okay? Is it an ad for LeBron, or is it an ad for Nike? I'm not really sure sometimes, right? And so you have to think about that. Will it be like obvious that LeBron is trying to sell some Nikes, or LeBron's trying to sell some Coca-Cola or something like that, right? So you have to think about those things. And for me, I think one of the biggest mistakes that sometimes happens in advertising, we make ads, is we forget about the 4 Ps: product, price, place, promotion, and also the value propositions that our products and services have. Because sometimes the easiest thing to do is just to say what you do well, and that can get people to buy. So I have another video that continues on from here that will give you a lot more information about that. So check out that video next. It's actually from the exact same location with this exact same shirt, just different toys in the background. Anyway, I wish y'all the best. Bye. So you're trying to figure out how to set up your advertising campaign. What we're going to talk about today is the 8M formula for advertising campaigns, so you can have like kind of a quick and dirty way to kind of figure out how to set up your own advertising campaign. And the first question you got to ask yourself, or the first M I should say, is the management question. Who's in charge of the advertising program? Who's making the decision? Is it the corporate office in New York, or is it the regional franchisee in Champaign, Illinois? That's going to have a really big impact, because if it's going to be the upper management, they're going to have more of a strategic vision for it. Whereas a franchisee that's on the ground that deals with the customer might have more of a tactical thing, seeing that, look, we should really promote the shakes because the hot weather's here and people are going to drink those shakes, so we need to focus on that. So that's the first thing you got to think about is management question. Who is going to be in charge of this? Now, the second thing is, who's in charge is also about money. The money question. How much money will be spent on advertising versus other ways to communicate with our customers? So we might look at it this way. How much do I put on my digital ads? How much do I put in billboard? How much do I do for training to our employees or training to the salespeople that will be selling our products in another store? Those money questions need to be answered as well. Then we look at the market question. Basically, to whom are we going to target this advertisement? And the thing is, you might have multiple target markets, okay? You might have one set of ads that's targeting young people, and another one that's targeting old people. Or you might have a set that targets families, and another one that targets college students. You'll have different things like that. And if you look at movies, you'll see sometimes they'll cut an ad that's more geared towards kids to get them excited about a movie. And then they'll have another ad that's cut more for the really hardcore fans of a superhero movie, like, oh, that's the super secret Easter egg thing there. They'll do that, but it really will depend on who they're really targeting with an advertising. Now, the next thing you want to ask yourself is the message question, okay? Now, what should the advertisement say about our products or services? So we're going to talk about the value proposition, or we're going to talk about the product itself, we're going to talk about the price, we're going to talk about where they buy it. What do we really want to do? Okay, what do we want to focus on with these advertisements, okay? So that's the next M kind of thing you're going to look at. Now, the next M I want to talk about is the media question. What forms of media are you going to use? Like, exactly. Is it going to be the TV? Is it going to be the radio? Is it going to be online? You actually start to figure out your media mix, that breakdown of how things are going to go. So you actually lay it out there. And once you have that laid out, now you moved into your next M. That is the macro scheduling question. So how long is this advertising campaign going to run? I mean, think about it for a movie. The advertising campaign might start 6 months out with a teaser trailer. Well, actually, it'll be a teaser to a teaser trailer, and then like 2 days later will be the teaser trailer. That's 6 months before the movie. And then 3 months before the movie, they'll have a full trailer. And then 2 months before the movie, they'll start announcing now you can buy tickets, so there'll be some TV spots, right? And then it'll go. And then after the movie comes out, they'll be like, hey, see the #1 movie in America. And they'll have those advertising. And then the advertising campaign will, slow down after the first couple weeks. And then it comes back again when we start having the DVD sales and the digital downloads and stuff like that. So you might have different advertising campaigns for those, but these are kind of the overall idea you want to have in the macro scheduling question. Now, the next M is the micro scheduling question. So now we're looking at is when exactly should those ads appear? The date, the time, the TV program it should be on. If you ever watch, whenever they have like a new Avengers or a new, Marvel movie come out, it's owned by Disney, right? And so they put it on like Good Morning America on ABC because it's another Disney channel. So we know that we're going to have it in the morning on Good Morning America. It's going to be on at 8 o'clock, and then we need to have the digital stuff go online at 8:05 so people watch on Good Morning America, but I don't want the bootlegs online so they see a bad version. I want to see the good stuff, so then we put our version up on Marvel, youtube.com/Marvel or Disney or whatever. We put that on there, okay? But you really lay it out because think about it. If you're a nonprofit, you don't have a lot of money to spend on advertising. That micro schedule is going to be very important. When do I put those Facebook ads on? When should they be popping up? Well, when are people making their decision when to donate? Well, I want to make sure it's maybe in December when people are doing things, or if people are looking to donate their time and volunteer, they might be looking, what do we do this weekend? Well, maybe we put that Thursday at 5 o'clock. They've come home from work, they're looking at the newspaper, they're looking on their phones, they're checking their Facebook. That could be something that shows up there. Because if I put it there at, 10 o'clock in the morning, well, everyone's at work. No one's looking at their Facebook. They're looking at that 5 o'clock at night when they're back home, relaxing, getting ready for dinner. So you want to think about those things. That's why you do a lot of research to figure out when is the best time. That's why if you look on any of the social media stuff, they'll give you they'll track when people are looking, and you want to make sure you're hitting at the right time. And then the 8th M in for the 8 M's is the measurement question. How do we determine if a campaign has been successful? Like, what is a good job? Is it more sales? Well, how much more sales is considered a good job? Is it now people know our product? Okay, well, what's the percent? What are we going to look at that they know our product? Is it, we were trending on YouTube? Is that a success? These are things you got to lay out, because if you want to know if your advertising campaign was a success, you got to have something to judge it against. So make sure you set up measurable measures. Okay, it sounds silly, but measurable measures in order to figure out what is truly a success versus an okay job and things like that. Because, hey, is an A a good grade? Yeah, A is a good grade. But in some classes, I'm happy I got a B, because, oh my God, it was so hard. So your criteria may be a bit different. Okay, so I hope that helps you know just a quick and dirty way for the 8M formulas for advertising campaigns. If you want to learn more, hit that subscribe button. We got plenty more business videos and marketing videos on here to help you out. So if you're studying for an exam, good luck. If you're trying to, do some thinking about an advertising campaign for your business, I also wish you good luck, and we'll see you later. Bye. Hey the fellow marketers, Professor Wolters here, and today we're back in Georgia, and today we're going to talk about is the promotion mix. These are all the things we do in order to help promote our products or services. And there's some things you need to think about before we go into kind of each of the different parts that are out there. One thing you got to realize is your promotion mix is going to help you engage with your customer. It's going to help you speak to your customers. It's going to help you promote to your customers, right? Communicating with them, this kind of stuff. We're going to be doing those things. And when we do that, we want to make sure that we're promoting and engaging our customers to let them know the value of our products, the value of our services, and things like that. And what's important is that we're consistent across all platforms. So it doesn't matter if it's a TV ad, a digital ad, or if it's a salesperson, everybody's kind of on the same page about what we're doing. So you're sending a consistent message on each one of these parts of the promotion mix. And I guess I'll start off with the first one is advertising. Obviously, this is the most popular, most famous version of promotion is you put ads out there, whether it's the billboard on the side of the highway saying, hey, next exit is Culver's or McDonald's or whatever, that to get some food. Remember, they're communicating some value. Look, there's food. It's close by. It's at this exit. They have those things. You might look at your digital ads you have online that are out there. Hey, click here to find our latest deals. Or maybe you're going to let them know about your new products that are on offer in like a radio spot. There's all kinds of different things you'll see in terms of ads and where they show up. And we have a whole video that goes through different, kind of advertisement media that you can use. So check out that video for some more like pluses and minuses of those. But that's the first thing you got to think about. Your first promotion mix, the one that people think about the most is actually this advertising you're going to have. Now, the second thing I want to talk about is actually digital marketing, okay? Now, you notice I talked about the digital ads and the advertising part, and that is part of this. But the thing is, in digital marketing, you also have what are called email lists, where you have a collection of emails for people, maybe it's clients or potential clients or customers or whatever, you send out. And you can email them, you can target them and stuff like that to promote to them, to talk to them. So you have your digital marketing aspect you're going to have, right? But then also we have to think about other things. Like one thing I really enjoy are the good public relations stories you see that are out there. Because the thing is, companies need to promote the good things they do in their community, because a lot of companies really do give back. Like, if you watch my videos, I'm a Coke person. But the thing is, in my hometown, Refreshment Services Pepsi of Quincy, man, they do fantastic things in the community. They sponsor all kinds of sports things. They put, billboards up. They put the sports fields and things like that. They do a lot of stuff within the community, which makes you feel like, what? I want to give more. I want to buy my Mountain Dew when I go home to Quincy as opposed to something else. And the thing is, in public relations, part of their job is to promote the good things the company's doing. So they might write press releases to let people know that, hey, we have this new product release. We have this new person hired. We have these new initiatives we're doing. You have that kind of thing. But also part of the job is to deal with the negative press that's out there. For example, Airbnb has had a number of bad press over the years, and their public relations team has to deal with that. Like, hey, what about when there were cameras in people's Airbnbs? What's going on with that? Or other things. Like, they have to discuss that. They have to talk about that. So there's a lot of things that the public relations people need to do. And all these things they do are in order to kind of promote, really, hence the promotion mix, promote what the brand is doing in the community and other spots, okay? Now, the next thing I want to talk about about is actually personal selling, like those people that are selling to you in the stores or in the shops or online or however. When you're talking to somebody, maybe it's a little like chat bot over there, you need to have salespeople that promote your products, that understand the products, can tell people why it's good for them, why it's bad for them. I mean, think about it. When you go into a store and the sales personnel do a good job of promoting the right products for you, you're a lot happier. Oh, you helped me choose the right car. You helped me choose the right phone. You helped me choose the right computer. That really helps build a good brand image overall. But also what it does is it helps us promote kind of our values of our company. That's when you go to some stores, you're like, wow, you're just like the ads I see on TV. I mean, think about it. Jake from State Farm back in the day with their khaki pants and red shirt. You know what? If you went to State Farm, you saw a lot of khaki pants and red shirts. And they did that. It's like, wow, the brand and the advertising, the promotion is consistent across all platforms. Okay. So you think about that. You're like, hey, yeah. And one thing you really need to do if you do want to have this kind of, really good personal selling aspect is you got to spend a lot of time on training your employees so everybody's delivering the same thing. Because you don't want a restaurant, for example, that one table has amazing service and the other table has horrible service. No. I want people to be consistent with their service so everybody's getting the same service. So we're being consistent. Remember, consistency and promotion. We have to think about those things, right? Now, next thing I want to talk about, since I'm talking about promotions overall, are the sales promotions we do. That is actually part of your promotion mix. When you see that buy one, get one free kind of thing, that's the promotion mix. Maybe you see different coupons or ads running online, or you're seeing discount codes. These are sales promotions. They're incentives that we use to entice customers to buy. And the thing is, remember we talked about consistency and everyone has to work together. So our ad has to have an information about the sale that's coming up. We actually have to have that sale. The salespeople need to know about it and who's going to be the most, get the most benefit from it. We have to think about those things and they all kind of mix together. Hence why it's a promotion mix. We're doing all these different parts at the same time. So you got to think about that. And I will say sales promotions usually are kind of a short-term thing. It's not long-term. That's more of a strategy overall. We're looking at sales, like short-term tactics of sales promotions. That's what you're looking at in your promotion mix. And then the last thing I want to talk about is what we call direct sales or direct marketing. And this is when you're talking directly to the consumers or a group of consumers. You're developing a promotion strategy just for them. So you might have that direct, the direct mailers you might see and things like that. Yes, that kind of goes in there as well. So there's all these different parts of a promotion mix. And there's other parts out there, but I just want you to kind of think about all the different things that advertisers and marketers have to think about when they're developing their promotion mix. Because it's not just make a cool ad and sell. No. We can make a cool ad, but we got to have the right product for it. We got to know what's going to be the selling point for it. Our sales staff has to know what's going on. We got to make sure our public relations firms can let people know about why we're making this. All these things together really make up our promotion mix. And that's why it's kind of a tough thing to keep everyone on track, because there's so many different people that are kind of in there. Because you got your sales, you got your advertising, you got your marketing, you got new product development, you got your sales staff on the floor, you got your managers there. There's all kinds of things you really got to do. So I hope this helps you better understand what the promotion mix is, what goes into that promotion mix, and what you might need to do to put together your own promotion mix for your firm, your company, or your business. So I wish you all the best, and I'll see you later. Bye from Georgia. Hey there, fellow marketers, Professor Wolters here, and today we're going to talk about is the overall idea behind an ad campaign and ad campaign planning, okay? Because we're going to develop our advertising campaigns, we really have to think about is who we're going to be targeting, what are we going to say, how are we going to reach them, how do we know if it actually worked, all these kind of things. And we have videos that go through each parts of the ad campaign, so this is kind of like your overview, giving you an overall idea of how it kind of goes through things. And when you're really starting about your ad campaign planning, you really got to start by identifying the target group you're going to be going for with these ads and this advertising campaign. Who are you going to be speaking to in these ads? Who's the audience you really want to address? Are you going to be going for baby boomers, right? Or are you going to be going for college students? Because won't that influence the type of ads you're going to make, where you're going to put them, what you're going to say, the language you're going to use, the examples you're going to use? All that's going to be influenced by who you're going to target. So that's the first thing. And then once we have our target, then we have to think about is what's our objective with this advertising? What do we want to do with it? Are we trying to build awareness? Like, oh, we just want people to know that our movie's coming out. May 16th? Or are we trying to get them to understand something like, oh, do you know why Cheerios is better for you than Frosted Flakes? It's heart healthy. Okay, we're trying to inform them with these ads. I got that. Or are we trying to get them to go someplace? Oh, this summer, come see our concert series at the Met. You have to think about that, because the objective you have with your advertising is going to influence, again, what you're going to be saying, how you're going to be dealing with it, how you're going to promote it. All this kind of stuff comes into there. And once you have the group you're going to target and the objective, what you want to do with those ads, then we need to start setting our budget. Because you really have to determine and set your advertising budget in order to know what can we do. Because yes, I want to reach as many people as possible, so we need to be in the Super Bowl. Your budget's only $1 million. I'm like, oh, well, if it's $4 million for 30 seconds, do they sell 2-second ads on the Super Bowl? No. Obviously, the budget you have will influence what you can do. I mean, that's why a lot of nonprofits really focus on online marketing, because it's a lot cheaper than putting up billboards and TV ads and things like that. And so the budget numbers that you have is really going to be important in your advertising campaign planning. And the thing is, when you're setting that budget, you might look at it in terms of type of media. So you might break it down. Okay, 50% will go to TV, 25% will go to digital, 20% will go to billboard, and 5% for newspapers. But again, that might depend on who you're talking to, right? And so that's where we're looking at the next step. And the fourth one is conveying your message. We have to determine what's the best way to get our message across. Is it in video form? Is it in picture form? Is it just audio? What's the best way to do it? And so we have to really think about these things. Because if we realize our whole objective is to get people to understand how our product works, then maybe we need to do more video kind of stuff and then visual pictures where it's a step-by-step thing. So that will influence the kind of platforms we can use and the kind of media we can use for our ads. And that's why our next step is evaluating and selecting our marketing mix. So what are the different types of media we're going to use? And so we really look at is what's the most effective media. So if I'm going to be targeting college students, right, I'm not going to do billboard ads, because to see a billboard, you have to be looking up. And what do students do? Well, they have their phones and they're looking down at their phones the whole time, right? They're like walking around like this. So maybe we need to invest in chalk painting and we write on the ground. You know, these are things you got to think about when you're thinking about the different media types. How do people take things in? If I'm going for a boomer audience, maybe that one, you know what, newspapers where they're really like reading and focusing. So we're going to go that way. And on the local news, we're going to put TV ads during the local news time, because we know that's when they're watching. So you really have to evaluate all the different options that are out there. And we do have videos on evaluating all the different options out there to see what works best to get to your audience, okay? And again, that goes back to the first part, knowing who your target is, okay? And after we've selected this media, and after we evaluate, we've identified, we know our objective, all these kind of things, now, and only now, do we actually create the advertisements. Because now we know how much money we have to spend, we know who we're gonna be targeting, we know what we need to talk about, we have everything laid out in front of us, and now we create. You know, you put the horse in front of the cart, not the cart in front of the horse, right? You gotta make sure you got it right. And so this way we're getting everything laid out, it's all ready for us, and now we can make the ads, okay? So you have to think about that. So that's that point, is actually creating those advertisements and implementing them, okay? And then after we got those out there, of course, your planning doesn't stop with, oh, we got the ads out and we walk away. No, of course not. You have to come back and you need to assess the ad campaign's impact. Did it do what we set out to do? That's why you set up those objectives in the beginning. If it's up there to build awareness, have we built awareness? What are the metrics you're going to use that build awareness? Is that people actually talk about it? People know about it? If your objective is to increase sales, did sales increase? We have to look at those things and see is, did it really work? Did it improve our brand image? Did it change the way people think about us? Did it inform people? Did it get people buying tickets to the movie theater? Get it people trying our Impossible Whopper instead of our normal Whopper? All these kind of things we're looking at and we're testing. And if we see that our ad campaign didn't meet its objectives, we want to look into why. Why didn't it work? Did we not get the right audience? Were we not like hitting the right keynotes? Were we put it on the wrong website? I mean, think about it. If I'm going after college students, am I gonna put ads on Facebook? No, they're not looking on Facebook. They're on Snap, they're on TikTok, they're on Instagram, these kind of things. I need to be there instead of on Facebook or MySpace or something like that, okay? So you have to think about those things. And again, we've got videos for each one of these steps, but I just wanted to give you kind of the overall idea behind an ad campaign and ad campaign planning, so you have an idea what you need to do if you need to set up your own ad campaign. Anyway, I wish you all the best. Bye. Hey there, fellow marketers, Professor Wolters here, and today we're going to talk about is how we identify our target audience for our advertising campaign. Now, I realize we do segment our market in general. You might have, your demographic segmentation, your psychographic segmentation, all these different things for your clients. But the thing you have to realize in your advertising, you might segment them again in a different way, because segmenting our target audience for ads will have an extremely huge impact on the impact that our ads actually have on people. Because it's really important that we correctly identify the target audience for our ads to draw people in, right? And therefore really influencing the level of success our campaign will have. Because you think about it, you need to know a few people if you're going to be doing ads. Let's say we're thinking about doing ads for a movie, right? A kid's movie. And so we have to think about is, well, who are the influencers? Who influences kids into thinking what they should go see or what is cool and things like that? That's why you see companies spend a lot of money to get athletes and famous musicians and stuff like that to show up in their movies, to show up in their advertising campaigns, because they know, those little kids are influenced. Because if you like basketball, yeah, I need to get myself some LeBron James shoes. They're awesome because he's the best. And so you have that, so you're looking at those influencers. So that's going to be important. But also you're going to look at who's the decider. Because the thing is, the person you're advertising to that might be using your product that you're selling might not be the person that decides that they're going to buy it. So for example, going to our movie example, think about kids' movies. Kids want to see it. What influences kids? Oh, if it's somebody funny or somebody they know or somebody famous, they want to see it. So that will influence them, right? But the thing is, mom and dad have to say it's okay for them to go. So mom and dad are deciders. So we have to think about that in our advertising campaign. Yeah, having bright colors and fast-moving lights gets little kids to want to see a movie. But it doesn't necessarily get mom and dad to say, you know what, we'll go see Frozen 7 times. We'll go see, How to Train Your Dragon 10 times. No, we have to advertise something more for that audience as well. That's why when you look at movies like Shrek from back in the day, yes, they had the animation that inspires kids to watch, but for those deciders, those parents that are ones putting down the $20 to go to the movie, they had the adult humor in there too to get them to want to come and see the movie as well. So you really have to kind of think about is who are all the people that are going to be kind of influenced or kind of taking in all these ads that might help them make decisions. Because each of those target markets have to be addressed in our advertising campaign. Because yes, the influence, the deciders, but also the person that's actually going to use the product, yeah, we have to think about all those people, right? So that's why you see where they have those ads with kids playing with toys. Look how happy those kids are, and they're like, Mom, Dad, I want to have this, I want to have this. They have to inspire them as well. Because the thing is, you have to look at it and realize each one of these segments might have a different need or want that needs to be satisfied for them to want to buy the product. So for a kid, their need, it's got to be funny, it's got to be entertaining, it's got to be bright colored, right? So for the movies, that's important to them. But for the parents, okay, it's got to be, kid appropriate, it's got to be long enough that I can drop them off and go get something done before I pick them up. It's got, it's got to have people I've heard of, because if it's a movie I've never heard of, I don't want it to be too scary for them. And then of course you also think about the movie theaters. What are they looking for? Well, we want a movie that's not too long, because the shorter the movie, if it's an hour and 20 minutes, then we can put another showing in during the day so we can get even more people coming through. And if it's a movie for kids, that means kids are going to come, and that's not just one ticket, because kids usually bring their parents, so there's another 1 or 2 tickets going with them, so there's 3 people coming for the one person that wants to go. And also the kids want to have the candy, they want to have the popcorn, we want to have the other stuff. Hey, it's going to drive a lot of people to buy even more stuff than just tickets. So yes, we want to show the movie and that movie in our movie theater. And what you have to realize is when you're advertising, you're not always advertising for people that are going to buy your product today, and you might not be advertising to people who are actually going to use your product in general. Because if you think about it, I mean, I'm here at a university, a beautiful university campus. I know the weather's not so great, so it doesn't look so good. But when those universities are playing in the big football bowl games, or they're playing in March Madness for basketball, and they're seeing those university colors all over, they're actually advertising in a way to those possible future future students that might come here. I know when I was a little kid, I remember watching the Flying Illini play Indiana, and they made this last second shot. I'm like, yes, Illini! And I came to school here 20 years later, and I teach here again 20 years after that. And you start to see is, wow, they weren't advertising for me to go to Illinois when I was 5, but it did influence my decision later on in life. And so you have that. But also you might look at and realize the people we're advertising to are the deciders in terms of who's buying the product, not necessarily who's actually going to wear the product. I know Under Armour did a really good job when they looked at their numbers and saw, wait, we're selling all these men's clothes to women. So why is that? Well, they started to see that, look, women were buying those clothes as gifts to give to people. So they saw, hey, maybe we change our advertising from having men doing, men wearing this stuff and working out, to making, when it's the holidays, we have it as a gift-giving thing. So it's the wife giving it to their husband, the boyfriend giving it to his boyfriend, or something like that. So it became a gift-giving thing, as opposed to I'm buying it for myself to work out. It's my wife getting it for me to say, hint, hint, chubby, it's time to go work out. So you can look at it that way. So there's a lot of different things you can do when you're looking at identifying that target audience for your ad campaign, because your ads can be targeting a lot of different people with the same message. All right, so I hope this helps you understand a bit more of that ad campaign planning. If you want to learn more, watch some more other videos. Bye. Hey there, fellow marketers, Professor Wolters here, and today we're going to talk about setting your advertising objectives within your ad campaign, because it's really important when you're making an ad campaign to have some kind of objective. What is it you want these ads to do? Do you want them to inspire sales? Do you want them to change the opinion that people have about your products? Do you want people just to know that a movie's coming out on a certain day? What is it? What is your objective? Okay, and we need to lay these things out, because if you don't have an objective, you're kind of wasting your time with your ads. And what's important is when you're making your advertising objective, make sure it's lining up with your business objective. So if McDonald's wants to have a business objective of selling more Big Macs, well, then we need to have our advertising campaign, our objectives for our advertising campaign be towards selling more Big Macs as well. Also, it's important because if we're just trying to gain more awareness with our advertising, we know not to focus necessarily on sales. We might look at other things like, hey, how are we trending? How is our name popping up? What's our Q rating? Things like that. We might track it there instead of like a sales number, because we're not going for sales stuff. Because what helps is if we link our business objectives and our advertising objectives together, it's a more chance they're going to be a success. Also, it helps us determine our sales promotions and how we're going to announce them, when we're going to release them, all kinds of stuff, because we don't want to be advertising our new special Bud Light Super Duper Platinum and advertise for that when the business objectives has us putting on the market shelves in 3 months. No, we need to have them already in the shelves and then announce it. Whereas when it's a movie, of course, you got to announce it before the movie comes out, because you have to get the excitement going that people are going to go the first day, so you know you can have the campaign saying the #1 movie in America. And that's why it's really important that you lay out your advertising objectives in your ad campaign planning, because then people see this is what we're trying to do. Because by putting this in the ad campaign, it really lays out our strategies that we have in order to communicate with certain groups or certain target audiences. Remember, we've already thought about, our target audience we were going to go for. So you might look at it as, look, if we're going to be targeting the over 65s, maybe we're going to do the newspaper. And if we're going to be targeting the under 20s, we're going to be looking at TikTok and things like that. Because it really is looking at what is the best advertising media mix for the different groups we're going for. And once we have that, we can just really lay out those objectives, and then we have something to judge our results against. Because if you don't have an objective out there, we want to increase sales by 10%. We want to increase our times we get tagged and pictured by 1,000% or whatever. If you don't have that objective out there, when you go at the end of your ad campaign and trying to decide if your ad campaign was a success, you have nothing to judge it against. So that's why it's important you really lay out these objectives in your ad campaign and in your ad plan, because we really want to be able to judge if we had a successful ad campaign. So just a quick little thing talking about setting your advertising objectives. We've got a lot more stuff that talks about advertising specifically, so check out those videos to help you out. We're marketers and advertisers sometimes butt heads, and we got all kinds of stuff to help you out. Bye. Hey there, there, fellow marketers. Professor Wolters here, and today we're here in Edinburgh, Scotland. And today we're going to have a quick video discussing the differences between a pull advertising strategy and a push advertising strategy, okay? Now, when you think of pull advertising, what you're trying to do is inspire those end consumers to come and buy your products. And so what they do is they go to the store and ask for that product. And most companies, most retailers, they want to keep their clients happy. So if their clients are asking for certain products, well, we better carry it, right? And so we're trying to inspire the consumers to actually pull the product through the supply chain by having them demand it to the retailers, okay? And the thing is, what we'll do is you'll see more advertising in a pull advertising strategy, so more ads will show up, more commercials and stuff like that. This is the whole reason why we feel that commercials inspire purchasing. That would be pull advertising. I mean, think about it. How many times you've been home late at night and all of a sudden that Domino's pizza ad comes on and they pull the pizza out and the cheese is just gooey coming out and you're like, oh, heck yeah, I gotta order that now. Domino's, save me. You have that. And that's the thing is, you then call up and order it, right? And so that's what we're trying to do, just inspire that end customer. And so for us as marketers, what we might wanna do is make sure we know those key important, things that customers want from our products. And so we talk about those, our value propositions, remember those things? We're gonna make sure we have those in our ads, that they therefore inspire those end consumers to go to the store to ask for it. And so therefore, since those stores wanna keep their clients happy, they say, hey Mark, could you get us more of your product? Okay, so you have that. Now the other side of the coin is what's called push advertising. And in push advertising, it's not the company talking to the end customer, it's the company talking to the next person down in the supply chain. Okay, so it could be a company talking to Walmart saying, hey, this is a really good product, you should probably try to get your clients to buy it because of X, Y, and Z. And so what you're doing is you're trying to push it on to the next level down and inspire them then to try to sell it down to the customer. And the thing is, a lot of companies can't do the pull advertising because they don't have the resources for commercials or the manpower to go out there and inspire people to buy. So what they do is they focus on that B2B business, right? That's why you see a lot of training in B2B sales, because they know we got to build this relationship. I got to push our products onto these guys or gals and stuff like that. So they'll therefore put it in their stores and try to push it on to their customers. You do see those things. And I think an example I've seen in some of the universities I've worked at is actually you'll have it where the dean or the department head or another professor will come and say, hey, Mark, could you promote my class in your class so students can find out about it? Tell them how cool it is, here's some of the good stuff, because maybe those professors don't know how to reach those students, or maybe they know that, hey, Mark has a class of 600 students, there's a better chance that he can reach out to them. So that's one of the things you're kind of looking at. You're just pushing it down, trying to get it down to the next level, okay? So remember, pull, inspire the end customer to pull it through the supply chain. Push, you're pushing it down to the wholesaler, to distribution center, the next people down in the supply chain, you're pushing it down onto them, so that therefore they push it down on the clients and try to get them to buy, okay? It's not super complicated, but maybe I made it sound more complicated than it is, but I do hope that you have a little bit better idea of what pull versus push advertising is. Anyway, I'll say bye from here in Edinburgh. Bye. Hey there, fellow marketers, Professor Wolters here, and today we're going to talk about some of the types of advertising you'll see. And I know we have another video that talks about celebrity advertising and stuff like that, but today what we're going to do is kind of go for more of the basics of advertising, the basic types that you see out there. The three I want to talk about: one is informative advertising, another one is persuasive advertising, and the third one is reminder advertising, which honestly, their names pretty much say it all. But to give you an idea, if you're looking at informative advertisements, these are ones that are really informing people about the brand, about the company, about the product. What does it actually do? What time is Doctor Who on this weekend, right? You're giving this kind of information out. And the thing is, you might see there's important information that they need to know. Maybe it's how this product should really be used. How many of you have used a product and found out later you were doing it wrong? You're like, oh, if I would have only known. So you might think about advertising that deals with that. Or instead of how they should be using it, maybe you have a new way to use your product. Oh, now Coca-Cola, it's not just for drinking on its own. Now, why not mix it with Jack Daniels, for a Jack and Coke? You could be educated on new ways to use your products. Also, you could be letting customers know about the service that you have or the support that goes along with it. Oh, when you book your ticket with Delta Airlines, just know that you also can visit them at delta.com or twitter.com/Delta to interact with our client help, And so you're just informing people about what's going on. And the thing is, you could be informing them not about good things. You could also be informing them about bad things. Maybe something's gone wrong. Like, hey, for your information, our store is going to be closed this week due to X, Y, or Z. But, informative advertising really is just information. Getting out the ideas and the things about your value propositions and stuff like that. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward. Now, you see this informative advertising a lot in the earlier stages of the industry life cycle, the product life cycle, because you have to inform people what something is, okay? Now, once you start having some competition out there, later in the growth phase, especially in the maturity phase as well, you see what's called persuasive advertising. What you're trying to do with persuasive advertising is really persuade people to choose your brand versus your competition. This is where you see the ads where like, this is Bob's family goes to the store and spends $25. But at the local big box store, they spent $30. Now you see it's actually better to shop here. And so they're doing that comparison to try to persuade you to come over. And the thing is, sometimes when you use persuasive advertising, it might persuade people to think of your product in a different way. Years ago when Old Spice came out with the Old Spice guy, right? I mean, Old Spice was like my grandpa's, deodorant and smell, right? And now they had a whole new advertising campaign to persuade people to think about their products differently. So you might look at it for, repositioning or kind of reprogramming how people look at your products. You might use this in order to get them to switch brands, to your brand from another brand, because sometimes people are very locked in with their brand. So it's going to take you a little bit more. You got to persuade them, give them a reason why they should come over to your side. Other things you might look at is you see a lot of persuasive advertising when it comes to social media, because they're trying to persuade people to like, share, subscribe. So, hey, why don't you like, share, and subscribe this video? That's another kind of advertising you can look at. And then the third type I want to talk about is this reminder advertising. And reminder advertising, really all it is just reminding people, hey, we're out here. Hey, you can still buy Coca-Cola. I mean, let's be honest. Do you really need an advertisement to persuade you to buy a Coke over a Pepsi? Or do you really need an advertisement to tell you what Coca-Cola is? Oh, this thing called Coca-Cola? I don't know what that is. Of course not. And so what we're doing, and you see this in the maturity phase, especially the later maturity phase, and sometimes the decline phase, you're just reminding people, hey, we're out here. It's like, oh, that's right. I need to pick up the Charmin, right? Like, oh, obviously, you don't need to explain what a toilet paper is, right? No, but you're like, oh, yes, I got to remember to pick those things up. That's why you'll see like candy bars and soda and beer and stuff like that. They're in the maturity phase of their industry, but the ads just reminding people to keep them top of mind. So when you go to the store, you pick up the Budweiser instead of the Coors. You pick up the Twix instead of the M&Ms and stuff like that. Also, you're reminding customers that really they might need your product. Like, hey, winter driving season's coming. Do you have the salt for the driveway? Do you have your shovel? Do you have your, first aid kit or your emergency kit? Oh, I don't. Thank you for letting me know. You're just reminding them, hey, this could be a time to be there. How many of you wait for those sales that come out during the holidays? Like, oh yeah, now's when I should get my luggage when it's in May and everything's dirt cheap. Thanks for the reminder for that Memorial Day sale luggage. Now, also when you look at reminder advertising, you might remind people where they can buy the product. But also you want to make sure that your customers don't think you forgot them. And so you might use this reminder advertising to remind them that they made the right purchase. Hey, our 3-year happiness guarantee, our customers are the happiest customers after 3 years of using our car. Oh, that sounds good. That's why when you look at things like J.D. Power, they're like, 3-year customer satisfaction award. Oh, that means they're the people that are the most happy with their cars after 3 years? Yes, and so you made the right choice 3 years ago when you bought this car. Oh, thank you. So you have that. So I just want to kind of give you these overall kind of basic ideas behind different types of advertising you'll see. Do watch the other video when we talk about, the celebrity ads and stuff like that to get an idea why they do that. But I just thought this could help out. And I wish you all the best and have yourself a great day wherever you are. Bye. Hey there, fellow marketers. Professor Wolters here, and today we're going to talk about our a few of the different types of advertising you'll see when you're out there. And probably the one that I notice the most is what they call comparison advertising. This is when you're comparing yourself to your competition. For example, our light bulbs last twice as long, or our beer is half the calories of their beer. You have this kind of comparison kind of thing. And the reason why you do that is in order to show people the contrast between your products and the other products. And you're more going to focus on issues that make you look better. So what are your value propositions? What makes you faster or better or something like that? So for example, Jimmy John's, it's a sandwich shop and they focus on freaky fast delivery. So all their advertisements are comparing how freaky fast their delivery is versus other people. So you have that kind of attitude and that kind of advertisement. Now, another thing you're going to see is what they call personality advertising. This is where you develop a personality and that personality sells your stuff. So Flo from Progressive Insurance, yes, that is a type of personality advertising, because you know when you have Flo, she's always there, she's always delivering the great deals on insurance and stuff like that. So you just see her and you know what you're going to get. Trivago has their Trivago guy in the US and other countries and stuff like that. And this personality that you create, I mean, Flo is not Flo in real life, and the Trivago guy is not Trivago in their real life. They're their own people, but you come to have this kind of personification of the brand in a person, and therefore you do personality advertising to sell that personality of your brand or product. Now, the next thing you have is called fantasy advertising. This is where you put people in fantastical situations, like imagine you're here in Aruba and you're dying of thirst and you just wish you would have listened and brought some kind of bottle to carry your water around in. Ow, and voila, out of the sky, a bottle falls that holds your nice cold ice water. So good, what a great situation. It's a fantasy that it drops out of the sky and it's just what I want. Oh, I love my Wolters water bottle. Even if it does smash me in the mouth when it falls from the palm trees kind of thing. The thing is though, in fantasy ads, what you're doing here is kind of create a certain fantasy that people want to project with the product. Like, oh, wouldn't it be nice if that happened if I had this product? That is those, we're running down the beaches and we're a family together. Walt Disney World, if you ever see their commercials, it's all these families so happy, enjoying and laughing, all kinds of stuff. But you know, when you actually go there, you get upset with each other, it's really expensive, so dad's pissed off, and you have all these other things going on. But the thing is, they're selling that fantastical versions of things. So you have that fantasy advertising. Now, another thing, and I'll go back to my water bottle example, you have what's called demonstration advertising. So this is me saying, look, if you want to have a water bottle that will keep your drink hot or cold no matter where you go, well, I'm going to show you how it works. You untwist the cap and look, there's liquid inside, and look, the cold water stays cold in there. I'm demonstrating how it works. If you ever think of those like Mr. Pillow ads or the ShamWow or the OxyClean kind of stuff where they're showing you how the product works, there's that kind of advertisement. And you're going to do those kind of things when you have a product that maybe needs a little more explanation, like why should I pay so much money for a pillow when I can just go grab one at Walmart? Let me explain why. Let me describe why. Let me give you this kind of demonstration of how the product works to help people understand that product better. Now, the next kind of advertising you see is what's called celebrity endorsement advertising. I'm sure you've seen an ad with Michael Jordan in his Hanes, or LeBron James, or Messi, or Cristiano Ronaldo. You use the famousness of those athletes, of those celebrities, in order to sell your product, make it get noticed. Why would I want to have LeBron James or Michael Jordan represent my brand? Well, think about it. They're the GOATs, the best of all time, and the kind of association you get with being linked to them gives value to people. It's like, oh, it's got to be some good underwear if that's what Michael Jordan wears, so maybe I'll wear it. And so you have that. And what's important is that you find celebrities that really represent your brand. So that's why you see so many like golfers being sponsored by accounting firms or consulting firms, because if you think about it, counting's pretty simple. 2 + 2 is the same no matter who you are, if you're an accountant or if you're a normal person. Just like golf is just hitting a ball with a stick. But it takes someone truly exceptional to play professional golf. Just like it takes somebody truly exceptional to be extra good at doing your taxes or doing accounting and stuff like that. So that's what you're kind of thinking about with those celebrity endorsement advertisements. Now, the thing is, though, not everyone wants to believe a celebrity advertiser. Like, do I think Michael Jordan is really wearing those Hanes? I don't know. I mean, he's got $1 billion. So he can wear whatever he wants. He's Michael Jordan. And so that's what sometimes you'll see are testimonials or testimonial advertising. This is where the real people actually show up. These are the kind of things you see online, like the old P90X things where it shows people before and then after, and it shows them working out. And it's people giving a testimony. This was my experience using this product. And they're using those, the review kind of things, the testimonial kind of things to sell the product. Look, you're not sure if this works for you? Well, here's how it worked for me. I'm not a celebrity. I'm a normal person. You're a normal person, so you can identify with me. So that's why they use those, because people trust more, people like themselves than they do celebrities. I mean, Chevy has a whole set of ads about, they're always saying, these are not actors. These are not paid actors. These are normal purchasers, because they're trying to show you, look, normal people buy these products. And then of course you have the old-fashioned advertising, just the straight sale advertisement. This is you're telling them, this is our product, this is what it does, please come buy it, okay? So, hey, here's our new design for our new jeans. You can find it at this store, come and buy it. It's now $39.99. And you do have that kind of straight sale advertising, you do see. Now the thing is, there actually are other types of advertising that I want to go more in depth in, called informative advertising, persuasive advertising, and reminder advertising. And the quick and dirty, informative advertising, you're informing about what your product is and stuff like that. Persuasive advertising, you're trying to persuade them to choose you, giving them reasons why. And then the third one is reminder advertising. It's just kind of advertising you want to do to help remind people about, why they should be buying your product, just to keep them top of mind. So you have things like that. But there's a whole longer video for that I'll have, so check that video instead, okay? So make sure you do that one as well. So these are just kind of the basics ones you see every day, but the premise behind them really comes out in that persuasive, informative, and reminder advertising, okay? So I hope that helps you, and good luck on your exam if you're studying. If you want to learn more about marketing, do subscribe. Bye from here in Aruba. Hey there, fellow marketers, Professor Wolters here, and today we're on the Shetland Islands, and today we're going to talk about is the focus of advertisements. Basically, what is the main thing we're going to focus on in these ads that we do? Are we going to talk about our products? Are we going to talk about an institution overall, our business? What are we going to be talking about? And there's kind of three main focuses you actually do see in ads. One is what's called a product focused ad, so they're focusing just on that product. Another one is called an institutional focused ad, so it's going to focus on an overall institution. And then you have what are called public service announcements. The more you know, the better you'll be, these kind of things. And so if we look at the product focused advertisements, so today I'm outside the Shetland Designer, okay? The Shetland Designer is a store where they make and design all these great designs for woolen wear here in the Shetland Islands. They're actually kind of famous for it. And if Shetland Island Designer decides that I want to promote my products, because look, our designs are made here in Shetland by a native from the Shetland Islands. It's woven by weavers here in the Shetland Islands. It's only sold here in the Shetland Islands. What we're doing is kind of informing the customers of our value propositions. Why are we so good? Why you should buy from the Shetland Designer versus somebody else. So trying to persuade people, we might be informing people about our products, these kind of things. But the thing is we're really focused on our products specifically. And the thing is, that's what most companies do. They are focusing on their own products, okay? But let's take things in general. Do you know a lot about the Shetland Islands? No. So you might have the Shetland Island Tourism Board, right? And they're an institution, and they're not just looking for people to go to one place in the Shetland Islands. They want them to go all over the place. Do you know they have some Iron Age and Bronze Age ruins here? I mean, it's pretty cool when you come here. And you can see puffins and seals and orcas and all kinds of cool stuff. I didn't know about that. So what you might have is what's called institutional focus advertisements. Basically, we're focused on a big group in general. So it could be the Shetland Tourism Board, or it could be, do you know what your local health department can do for you? Need to get your vaccinations? We can do that for you. Going on a trip and not sure what you should know before you go? We can help you with those health facts. Gonna have a kid? Hey, we can help you there too. Sometimes it's more of an in general, like letting people know what institutions really do. And what you end up trying to do is get people to kind of prefer your institution over other institutions. So that's why you'll see commercials for avocados from Mexico. You know the song, you hear about it. Yeah, those are the growers of avocados in Mexico got together, and now they're like, hey, let's work together, not just to favor one specific avocado producer. Let's get people to promote avocados from Mexico in general. Just like the Shetland Island Tourism Board will promote the Shetland Islands in general to come see. But my all-time favorite institutional focus advertisements were the old Got Milk campaigns, where the famous people would have the glass of milk there, and they'd have the milk mustache, milk, it does the body good, those kind of things. It wasn't one farmer, it wasn't buy Farmer Bob's milk, it was got milk, any kind of milk, we don't care what it is, just get yourself some milk. And so what they're trying to do is promote the institution of dairy farms and dairy and stuff like that. So you have that. And then you have the third focus I want to talk about, and that is public service announcements. These are ads that are focused on making the public better. It might be informing people the importance of getting your kids vaccinated, the good reasons why you should brush and floss every meal. It's not just because your breath won't stink as bad, it will help with your oral hygiene. Because what they end up doing is kind of focusing on public welfare, and what you'll actually see is TV stations, radio stations, they actually have dedicated space for these public service announcements. So if you're in an organization that's doing things for the community, you might want to reach out to your local radio or TV channel to see if you could get on there, so you could be like, hey, you need to have some public service announcements out there. We're doing these things for our community, so why don't you let us talk about the public service things that we're doing? And so you kind of have these three different kind of focuses you might see in advertisements. So just remember, product focused advertisements is just on one specific product, like Shetland designers sweaters that they make. Then you have the institutional focused ones. That's the Got Milk campaign. Hey, any kind of milk you want to buy, we're fine. Just buy some milk. And then you have the public service announcements that focus on social welfare and just making the world a better place kind of stuff. So I hope this helps you know a bit more about the different focuses of advertisements. If you want to learn more, go ahead and sign up on our channel. We put out new business videos all the time. And if you want to come to the Shetland Islands, go check out our other channel, Wolters World. We do all kinds of cool travel stuff, and we're here in the Shetland Islands. See what you don't do here, things that might shock you when you come here, like you drive over the runway because the runway and the highway actually cross. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Anyway, I'll say bye from here in Scotland, up in the northern parts, up in the Shetland Islands. Bye. Hey there, fellow marketers, Professor Wolters here, and today we're going to do a quick video on two of the kind of appeals that companies use in their advertisements. You have the informational appeal. With 700,000 subscribers, 160 million views, Wolters World tries to help people travel better with honest travel advice, advice on living abroad, advice on studying abroad, what you need to know before you go, and a lot more. From culture shocks to culture do's and don'ts, everything you need to know about travel and living abroad is on our website or on our YouTube channel, so check it out. And then you have the emotional appeal.
Learn about Lisbon with Wolters World.
And you see, each one of these appeals does go for a different kind of effect. If you're looking at an informational appeal, like what are we sharing here? Well, in an informational appeal, what you do is you really offer facts. Our product does X, Y, and Z. The results of our products are X, Y, and Z. You give these things, you state these facts. You're offering these key benefits, right? That value proposition we talked about. This is where you're really telling them what's so great about your product. You're listing it out there for them. And when you do that, it really makes it easier for people to kind of compare versus your competition. So if you do have a sustainable competitive advantage or just a short-term competitive advantage over your competitors, this is where you can really put it out there and say, look, we do last 10 times longer than our competition. Just giving the information out there, the appeal to your senses. Why would you get a better that doesn't last the longest, right? And so you have that. And then the other side, you have that emotional appeal.
Learn about Lisbon with Wolters World.
And I don't know about you, but you see that and you're like, well, what we're doing here is we're really focusing on the emotional desires instead of their kind of needs to get a product done. That's the whole idea of, sex sells and humor sells. I mean, how many times have you seen an ad and it made you laugh? What does laughing have to do with eating Doritos? I don't know, but those Doritos are pretty funny, so it makes me want to get some Doritos. You have that, and so what we try to do is we try to kind of satisfy emotional needs and emotional desires with these emotional appeals, because emotions really do kind of create a bond between the customer and the brand. That's why people love, Wendy's Twitter feed, because that emotional burn she'll give people, you're like, oh, that's so cool. And you feel connected to it. Those emotions kind of things people grasp onto. So that's why the whole sex sells, the whole humor sells. That's why we're using that appeal. And the thing is, it's not just sex sells and humor sells. Also, safety, fear sells. I mean, there's a lot of ads you might see out there that scare people into doing things. Like, how many times have you seen the commercials for security systems? They're like, oh, are you worried that someone's going to break into your house when you're away? Or if your kids are home alone, are you worried that someone's not there? Get our Hawkeye system that will watch and see who comes in your house. They're using that emotional appeal of fear to get you to want to buy. Okay, so we kind of think about these things, and there's a number of ads out there. I remember, a few years ago on the Super Bowl, there was Nationwide Insurance, and I always call it the dead kid ad. I'm sure in the notes it still says that. And what they did, it was this little boy talking about all these things about growing up. Oh, I wanted to go see the world. I wanted to be an astronaut, but I wanted to get married. I wanted to get cooties. I didn't want to get whatever, blah, blah, but I couldn't because I died in a household accident. You're like, oh man, what a downer. But the emotional appeal of that was like, look, pay attention to this. It really got people to, pay attention going after the emotional appeal. But you got to be careful because eventually people become dull to the emotional appeal sometimes. So you got to be careful with it. That's why what you'll see is companies will actually sometimes use a mix of the informational appeal and the emotional appeal, because sometimes the emotional appeal will get you interested, but then the information appeal is what seals the deal. It's like, wow, that sounded like really fun. It's like Doritos. That's like, hey, that was a pretty funny ad, and they've got nacho cheese flavor. I like nacho cheese flavor. It's like it gives you that extra little bit. So make sure you're kind of using a little bit of both. And if you've seen ads out there that use the sex sells or the informational appeal, let us know in the comment section below so we can have a discussion about some of the better ads out there that really get people, that really resonate with people. So I wish y'all the best, and until next time, bye. Hey fellow marketers, Professor Wolters here, and today we're on the third step of our advertising campaign planning, and that is determining the advertising budget, okay? And we're trying to figure out our advertising budget. What we have to start with is figuring out what role is advertising going to play in our overall promotion strategy, okay? Because you think about it, when we do a promotion strategy, it's not just the ads on TV. You might have concerts. How many of you gone to a concert that's sponsored by Apple or something like that, right? You have those things, right? Or you might have giveaways, or you might have, you might have your personal sales staff. There's all kinds of different ways that companies can promote their products, and we have to think about it in general in our promotion strategy. What role will advertising play? Is it going to be a big part or a small part? Because when you have movies, right, you do have all the commercials and the pre-roll ads on YouTube and stuff like that. Heck, I'm sure you probably saw a pre-roll ad for some movie before this video. And the thing is, you see that, look, we have those advertising things, but also we've got to pay for the actors to show up for the world premiere in Hollywood and the world premiere in Shanghai, right? And so we have all those things. So there's all kinds of different ways we promote. What we really got to figure out is, what is advertising's role? Is it to get people excited? Is it going to be a big part, a small part, whatever like that? And that's why we have to look at our next step is, how big of a role is it going to play? Okay, what role is it going to be? Then how big is that part going to be? When you think about it, are we going all in on a Super Bowl spot? We're going to spend $4 or $5 million for this 30 seconds to get people to know? Or are we going to spend, a few $100,000 and have thousands of 15-second videos playing in front of YouTube videos? Well, a lot of it will depend how important that audience is that you want to hit. And so by doing that, that really influences what our advertising budget's going to be. Because look, if I'm a nonprofit, I don't have the money. Let me check. Nope, I don't have the money for a Super Bowl ad. But a nonprofit, they might be able to spend a few $100s here and there to put out some Facebook ads or Instagram ads and stuff like that. So we start to see, it's like, look, if we're going to have a big role here, it's going to need a lot of money, and we don't have a lot of money, well, that's going to influence it, right? So we have to think about these things. And what you have to realize is your advertising budget will change over time. Because think about it, when a new product comes out, let's think about movies, right? A new movie's coming, you see tons and tons of commercials for it, right? Coming this May, the new Avengers movie. Oh, you got book tickets now. All tickets on sale now. And they show like whatever superhero is popular now going through there, and Spider-Man's going to be back and all this kind of stuff. And people get all excited, right? Because they're commercial, because we're introducing it. We're letting people know the thing is coming out. We got to get people excited. We got people to know that this new movie is coming. And so our budget for our advertising budget before the movie comes out is going to be a lot higher than after it comes out. Think about it. You hear all the ads, all the commercials, see all the stuff online before the movie comes out through the first weekend, and then all of a sudden you notice it starts dying off. You're like, wait, why am I not getting like 1,900 Avengers ads or something like that? What's going on here? Well, what you end up doing is you start seeing is that the budget switches. Because we have this big push to get people to go to the movie theater that first weekend, but because we know we've got to be the #1 movie in America or the #1 movie in the world, because then the next time when we're moving on later into the growth phase, we're looking at it in terms of, look, we're not trying to educate people, we're not trying to inform people about what our product is like we do in the introduction phase. In this growth phase, now we're telling people, hey, look, you should come see our movie instead of the competition. Hence why, after the first weekend, if it's the #1 movie in America, you darn well know their advertisers will be the #1 movie in America, right? And so you have that. And so what we're trying to do is to get people to just persuade, oh, you're not sure what movie to go to? Well, everyone else in America last weekend went and saw this, so shouldn't you see it as well? So they're trying to persuade you, trying to give you a reason to do that. And the thing is during this growth phase, we're spending less money on our advertising because we're not trying to get the word out. The word is already out. People know we're there. Now we're just trying to persuade people to buy from us. And we have all that residual memory from those like lots and lots of ads in the introduction phase that we kind of play a little bit off of that because you know what? You remember ads from days before, weeks before, months before. There's still a little bit in there. So we don't have to advertise it quite as much. Now we're just focused on specific things. Look, if you're looking for the most fun movie, go see this. I don't have to educate you as much, okay? And the thing is, if you're looking at your budget as you go farther down that product life cycle, if you're getting into the maturity phase, I mean, think about it. There's not a lot of new people going out to buy that product. What do we do in that maturity phase? We're just trying to remind people, hey, maybe go back and see that Avengers movie again. And you'll see like the number of ads for movies is like super high at the weeks leading up to the movie. And then it's like here after the movie comes out. And then like 2 weeks out, you see like no ads, no commercials, maybe a few billboards and an occasional, hey, why not go and take another spin with Spider-Man? You know, they do that because they realize in the maturity phase, everyone already knows about the product. What I'm really doing is that reminder advertising, just like, hey, if you haven't seen it yet, why don't you go check it out? And so by doing that, you start to see is you're going to have different budgets for different time periods. And so when you're making and you're determining your advertising budget, you might plan it out. This is our advertising budget for before the movie comes out. Here's our advertising budget for the first 3 or 4 weeks the movie's out. And then here's our advertising budget afterwards, maybe for the DVD release or something like that, right? And so you kind of have different plans out there for your budget. And what you have to realize is each industry is different when it comes to advertising. Like, you know, I've got my Coke here because after filming like 25 videos, if you ever noticed, the last exam, I'm wearing this Andiamo shirt a lot. That's because I'm filming a lot at one time. And the thing is, Coke, you see a lot of advertisements for Coca-Cola, but do you see many ads for cinnamon Coke? Do you see many for, you know, cherry vanilla Coke or cherry Coke by itself? Not so much, because in the cola industry, they know that, look, I can advertise this beautiful, wonderful, original taste Coca-Cola. And it still kind of works like I'm advertising for Diet Coke, Coke Zero, Cherry Coke, Cinnamon Coke, Cherry Vanilla Coke, Orange Vanilla Coke, Orange Coke, Coke with lime, Coke with lemon, caffeine-free Coke with lime or lemon, right? You have all those things out there. And so you see that you have to realize, look, our advertising budget's going to be different depending on the product we have, what we're trying to do, the different spot it is in the life cycle. So you have to consider all those things when you're determining your advertising budget, okay? So I hope this helps you understand a little bit more about this advertising campaign and planning for our advertising campaign. Remember, there's other steps out there you got to go through, so watch those videos, whether you're looking at how to decide who to target with your ads, how to set objectives for your ads, maybe assessing the impact of those ads or how good they could work. We have videos on those too. So good luck, and I'll talk to you later. Hey there, fellow marketers, Professor Wolters here, and today we're here in Aruba, and today we're going to talk about is how companies evaluate and select different types of media to use in their advertisements, because there's a lot of things you have to think about. I mean, if we look at the guy behind us doing the jet skis and the boat rides and stuff like that, he's got to think about what's the best way for me to reach my potential customer. What media, what form of transmission of these ideas are going to work best for me to reach my customers, right? And so we started thinking about this. What you end up starting to do is what's called media planning. And here you start to evaluate all the different media possibilities that you actually have in order to decide what kind of media mix you should use. So if we think about it here, we're in Aruba, okay? Aruba, okay, there's TV here, but a lot of the TV that comes in here is either from the Netherlands, or it's from the US, or it's from, South America. So it's not Aruban. So if he wanted to be on those ads, he wouldn't be getting a lot of his clients because that TV channel goes everywhere. I mean, if he's advertised on ESPN, I mean, it's not really going to pay off for his little thing. So TV, I don't know if that's going to be there. What else they have? There's a few newspapers they do have here in town. They've got some billboards. Oh, there's also the billboards you can put up on your own here on the beach to advertise. You can look at personal selling. Think about all those parts in the promotion mix we could be looking at. Internet ads, maybe we have like some radio spots because people love their music here in Aruba and stuff like that. So you're kind of evaluating all that's out there. Will it work for us? Will it not? Okay, so for a company like this that's only got, hey, we only have a small spot and a few things that people can do from us, our budget's going to be pretty limited, right? So that's kind of limit what we could possibly do. That's why you really do this media planning to figure out yes, there's a lot of options out there, but what are the realistic options, okay? And when you start to go down, you want to figure out what is the media mix you're going to use. And so the media mix is just the advertising media that you're actually going to use. So for him, okay, he's going to have the billboards like you can see there. Maybe he has a sandwich board out on the boardwalk when people walk by. Hey, you want to go on the boat trips? We can book it here. He's got that. He's also doing personal selling. You'll probably hear the guys asking people if they want to go. They have that. And they're going to focus on that. Maybe what he might do if he wanted to be like, fancy, he'd go to the hotel that's right here and say, hey, could I buy some ad space? Negotiated ads, remember this? Could I buy some ad space and advertise my trips on your hotel's website? Because then people are on the hotel's website because they're staying here. That might be something to do. But otherwise, his media mix won't include the TV like I talked about before. It's not worth it. Probably not going to put it in the newspaper because, a lot of people that are here aren't reading the newspaper when they're here in Aruba. They're here to relax. So you don't see too much of those. And so you kind of figure out what's that mix going to be. And the thing is, if I look at something like an Avengers movie, like one of those big Marvel movies, think of all the media mix that they have. They have the billboard ads, that you see on the highways. They also do the digital ads that show up, on websites, and the pre-roll ads on YouTube. They have that. They're also in the Instagram scroll. They also take out ads to say, hey, look, here's the movie theater times. They do a lot of different things out there because they know we've got to reach a lot of people. So we're going to use as many media as we can to get all the different types out there. Because think about it, reaching my parents, the local newspaper, that's going to work because they're still reading those newspapers. To reach me, well, they're going to put on some Facebook things that are going to go on there, and YouTube because that's what I watch. For my kids, what are they going to do? Maybe an ad on TikTok or Snap, and they're going to figure out what's the best media mix to reach the people we want to make. Okay, so that's why you have to think about who are we trying to reach? Let's make sure those ads are showing up on the media that target audience is actually going to go for. So that's going to influence your media mix. And then, of course, you have the media buy. You actually have to purchase those billboards. You have to actually purchase those internet ads, the timing, the radio time if you're going to have a radio spot. And the thing is, you have to realize you may say, oh, I want to make a TV commercial. Well, it is expensive. And the thing is, making it is one price, but then placing it, well, it depends what channel you want it on, what time of the day you want it on, right? Oh, if you want to put it on during a very popular football match, well, that's going to be a lot more expensive than if you're putting it at 2 o'clock in the morning on a random channel. No. And that's why companies will spend, $4 million on a Super Bowl ad, like just the spot, because they know people are going to be watching that. Because, not every ad is $4 million. But for the Super Bowl, yes, it kind of is. And you look at it and kind of judge, is my money going to be better spent that way? Is my media budget going to work that way? And so when you do those buys, you have to think about that. That's why you might say, look, we don't have a lot of cash. What's going to get us the biggest bang for our buck? So if you're a nonprofit, what are you going to do? Well, if I need volunteers, I need donations, who are the people I'm going to go for? Oh, those people, they're on Facebook. So I'm going to put most of my buy in buying Facebook ads, not in YouTube ads and not on TikTok or something like that, or some other dead platform or not very important platform. It's going to be Facebook. And I'm going to make sure I buy it so it shows up for that specific group. And I'm going to make sure it shows up at a specific time because I'm going to buy the ad to show up at 5 o'clock in the afternoon on a Thursday or Friday when people are thinking, what are we going to do this weekend? Oh, there's a volunteer thing. I can go pet the dogs. Or here in Aruba, I could go to the donkey sanctuary and help out the donkeys. There's a volunteer thing I could do, and so they could get people to come and help. And so you really have to think about all these different things. And sometimes you might get into what's called bidding for ad space. So if you ever notice that you'll get the same YouTube ad over and over and over again, it's because they have bid a certain amount of money, say, look, I'll pay this amount of money to show up as many times as I can until that fills out their contract, and they paid a higher price for that. And then the next company that bid, then that's what the next one that shows up. And you have to think about those things. And the thing is, when you're looking at the different media that you can choose from, you have to realize there's pros and cons for each one. So I'm going to go through some of the media that you could be using in your media mix, so you have kind of an idea of why you should do some, why you shouldn't do others, and things like that. Now, if you're thinking about TV, probably the most popular thing when people think of advertising, they think those commercials out there, the Super Bowl and those funny ads and things like that. Yes, they are great. They're visual, they're audio, you can hear all this kind of stuff. People might like them, but the thing is you have to worry because it's expensive to make TV ads. You got to have the directors and the actors and the cameras and stuff like that by the time on the television. So it is expensive. But the thing is, it actually can be good as well, because think about it. With a TV ad, I can be very targeted. If I'm a home improvement store, right, I can put my ads on the DIY network or the HGTV network, because those people are thinking about doing stuff with their homes, so I can advertise right there. So it can be very, very targeted. But on the other side of it, how many of you still watch cable TV? You know, I cut the cord years ago, and so we only have, we watch, Netflix or maybe you get Disney Plus and things like that that don't have ads. So that can be a problem. But hey, it can be very targeted as well. So something to think about. And of course, you also have to think about is, will people actually be watching that channel? Because if they're not watching that channel, you totally miss out on them, which actually is another issue you might have with radio advertising. Now, radio is significantly cheaper to advertise there than versus TV. Also, it can be very much targeted because you can have different music styles, or maybe it's talk radio or sports radio. You can have a very focused target audience in each one of those radio stations, so you can look for that. So that's really nice. The thing is, though, if you're looking at it, a lot of people use like Spotify or Apple Music or something like that, so there's not really ads anymore. I mean, we have Sirius XM radio, and half the channels are commercial free, so you might not be able to get people to actually hear your ads. Now, another thing we can look at, obviously, since we're on the internet here, you can look at internet advertising, whether you have a banner ad that's up there on the top of a website, or maybe there's a pre-roll ad that was before this video, or maybe if this video is more than 10 minutes long, there might be an ad like right now popping up, or an ad at the end. You can have that. There's all kinds of different internet ads that are out there. Now, the thing that's good about them, it's got sight, it's got sound. Internet advertising is pretty cheap as well. That's why I was saying for the guy behind me, that's going to work out real well for him. But the thing is, though, how many people use ad blockers? And how many of you actually look at the ads that are like probably over there, my video, or over there or somewhere? You're probably not even looking there. So getting people's attention can be tough. That's why companies pay more to have that non-skippable ad, to make sure they have to watch it before they watch that video they want to watch on YouTube or something like that. And the thing is what's good about these internet ads, they can be very flexible. You can have them so it's just entertaining your product, or have them click on a link to go to your website. You can do all kinds of different things with it. And of course, it can be very targeted as well. If it's just a travel thing, like visit Aruba, they could just have it so it only shows up on TripAdvisor things, or when people search for Aruba, then those ads pop up then. So that can be really, really good as well. So there's some different things you got to kind of think about. Now, you can go the old school way, and you can look at newspapers and magazines and stuff like that. Those are also can be relatively affordable, but the thing is, you have to think about it. Are people actually going to get that newspaper? Are they actually going to get that magazine? Are they going to see the advertisement on there? And the thing is, like for newspapers, it's only that day, so they missed today's newspaper, or the neighbor stole their newspaper, they're never going to see that ad. And of course, you have to look at the demographics for the magazine, so it could help you for a magazine, who the magazine's targeting, the newspaper, think about those demographics as well. And the thing is, newspapers are kind of dying off, so you're kind of like, oh, is it really going to pay for itself, even if it is cheap? So you kind of have to think about these things. And the last one I'll talk about is like our buddy behind us is using these billboard advertising. Now, billboard ads, hey, look, if it's on the highway and people are stuck in rush hour traffic and they have nowhere to go and they're going 5 miles an hour, they might like look up and see and go, oh, I need to get my hair done like that guy, right? The thing is, though, most of the time people are going 90 miles an hour down the highway, they might miss out. So you have to make sure you're in a high trafficked area, and maybe you need multiple billboards that people finally kind of gets through. And that's the thing is, when you think about it, consumers have so much noise, so much stimulation coming in all the time. How do we get them to notice us? That's why you, in your media mix, you use so many different forms of media, because you know what? That billboard they catch in the corner of their eye, and they click skip ad, but they get that first 5 seconds of the ad on a YouTube video. And then there's a banner that's on the top of their CNN thing when they're reading an article that has an ad. These kind of things, little by little, we start to get a little, like maybe soak a little into their consciousness, so they realize that our product is out there, or our service is out there, or our movie's out there, or our boat trip is out there, and things like that. So I hope this helps you understand a little bit about evaluating and selecting media and the different kind of media that are out there. And there's more media types out there. I just kind of want to talk about the most popular ones. But I hope this does help, and I wish you all the best, and I'll say bye from here in Aruba. Hey there, fellow marketers, Professor Wolters here, and today we're back in Rwanda, and today we're going to talk about are the different types of advertising schedules you will actually see when you watch commercials. And the thing is, there's kind of 3 overall general scheduling that companies do when they do their advertising. One is continuous, another one is flighting, another one's called pulsing, okay? So with continuous advertising, what you have is you have products like toilet paper, milk, eggs, products that don't really have a high season. I mean, we all go to the bathroom all year round, right? I mean, if you don't, you should see your doctor, okay? But we do. We go, it's the same stuff all year round. So we have what's called continuous advertising. The same amount of advertising all year round. We don't spike it up. We don't stop. It's the same kind of thing. Don't forget to pick up the Charmin, or don't forget to squeeze the Charmin. You have these kind of things out there. And you'll see this mostly, like I said, in shopping products, grocery products, everyday things, kind of like Walmart shopping or Aldi shopping, these kind of products. And now the next one you have is what's called a flighting advertising schedule. And what this is you just fly in, right? It's a flight. You fly in and advertise just for a specific amount of time for a specific product. So if I'm Bob's, Christmas tree farm, I'm only advertising in November and December because that's when people buy. Yes, I'm growing trees all year round, but I'm not selling any other time. So there's no point to advertise in January or July, right? So I'm only focused on that one time. And you'll see this because sometimes products are only released at certain times of the year. I love my Christmas Crunch, okay? That's a cereal they have in the US that's only out, November, December. So the advertisement is November, December, and then it disappears. Maybe there's some kind of product you like that's only available. Like my wife, she loves Peeps. It's marshmallow candy that only comes out at Easter time. So I know that once I see that first set of Peeps, I gotta buy them at the store because I know that, hey, it's only gonna be there a little bit of time and they're gonna be gone. So you see that. And then you have what's called the pulsing advertising schedule. And the pulsing one is basically a combination of the continuous and the flighting schedules, okay? Because it's products that, yes, we advertise them all year round, continuously, but occasionally we'll have a burst of advertising or a pulse up of more advertising spend. So for example, if I'm a toy store, yes, I will advertise toys all year round because kids have birthdays all year round and we get them toys. But I do know, hey, when it comes to the holiday season, I need to ramp up my advertising, right? I need more toys to let them know, hey, if you want the best toys in town, come to Mark's Toys World for the holidays. We've got all the best toys to make your kids happy these holidays. And we do that. And so it goes around and it pulses up when we need to have the more advertising. If you think of something like Hallmark greeting cards, okay, birthdays are all year round, so they advertise birthday cards, but when a big event comes, like Mother's Day, yes, they're going to make sure, hey, don't forget to send your mom a card on Mother's Day, and they'll have a lot more advertising because they know at this time of the year we can make a lot more money and we can inspire a lot more purchases, so we need more advertising to get people to make sure they're buying the stuff, okay? And so those are 3 kinds of advertising scheduling you'll see. I just like to talk about this to give people an idea because you may see that, wow, it seems like there's a lot of Barnes & Noble ads lately. Well, yeah, the holidays are coming up, so they know that, hey, look, Toys R Us isn't around anymore, so maybe we can get people to come here to buy their toys for the kids. So we got to advertise that, hey, did you know Barnes & Noble's has toys now too and gifts for kids? I had no idea, and that's what they might do. Whereas the rest of you, maybe they're just advertising, the normal book selection or their cafe with the fun people that are there. Hey, I'm a big Barnes & Noble fan, so I gotta give them a shout out. So there is that. Anyway, I hope this helps you know a little bit more. If you want to learn more about marketing or advertising or YouTubing and stuff like that, why don't you hit that subscription button? Because we put out new business videos every week to help other YouTubers, other marketers, other students that are maybe studying for exams. We try to help you all out. Anyway, I'll say bye from here in Rwanda. And honestly, they should be advertising the gorilla trek here in the mountains because there's volcanoes back there. You can't see them because of the clouds, but there's volcanoes back there. You can actually hike and get in with the gorillas. I mean, that's the kind of advertising all year round because people should be coming to this country all the time because Rwanda is awesome. Anyway, that's kind of off topic for advertising, but anyway, I was advertising for them. Just a burst right there. Anyway, bye from Rwanda. Hey there, fellow marketers, Professor Wolters here, and today we're going to talk about is the non-advertising side of integrated marketing communications, because there's ways that we communicate with our customers that aren't just about ads. There's other things we're going to do, right? And we're going to talk about some of those today, because some you might see might be sales promotions, right? We're going to do things in order to inspire people to buy or inspire them and get them excited to go to the store, whether it's making deals to them, our loyalty programs and stuff like that. We've got a video that goes through all those sales promotions kind of things, but there are those things we got to think about. But there's also things like public relations, the marketing team, the sales team, these kind of things. We really have to think about that when we're developing our integrated marketing communications kind of plan and strategies, okay? So if we look at public relations, what are public relations? Well, this is the way when we manage our communications with different stakeholders with our business. So it might be the people in your community where your business is. It could be your customers that are out there. It could be your clients. It could be all kinds of different people that your business touches, right? And so we want to make sure we've got a good relationship with them. Hence public relations. You're relating with the public in all kinds of different ways. And of course, the main overall kind of push for public relations is to get a positive image of our business out there in the community, out there to our stakeholders. So you're going to do things like that. You're going to be making those brochures that make your company look so good. I mean, if you're a college student, how many brochures did you get when it was time for you to look for colleges? And they all were all glossy and nice, and everyone's sitting there, oh yes, we're studying in front of this famous statue. Look at us, we're having this fantastic food. Look, we're having fun. I'm throwing the football on the quad. Now, we all know that's not how it really works when you're at school, right? Okay, you know that, but the brochures are trying to put it in the best light possible. Look, you're going to have fun at school, you're going to learn here, you're going to make new friends, the food's really good. They're going to show all those fun things and good things about it in their brochures. 97% job placement, everybody loves coming back, our team is the best. They're going to do that because they're trying to put a positive spin on things. And those brochures that you get, hey, that's what they're trying to do. But that positive spin, it's not just the glossy brochures that the public relations team does. One, they might do press releases, right? You're going to say, look, our team played this, or our students were ranked #1 in the country for this. And they're going to send it out to different news outlets and things like that to hopefully, maybe it'll show up in the newspaper. Maybe these things will happen. People will see what we've been doing. We want to have those kind of things. And speaking of seeing what things we're doing, you also might see different videos they make. You know, hey, you got their YouTube channel showing their students doing things and stuff like that. Or maybe on Instagram stories, you'll see something going on. Like they'll do things like that to kind of show maybe the service projects they're doing, the good things they're doing in the community, how they're reaching out, how our team is growing together. Because there's all kinds of ways that public relations can spread the good word and help the good word and help, with that good image. Another thing you're going to see in public relations is the website. Because the website might collect all that. They might have the videos, the brochures, and the news releases all there together. So if people want to find out about the university or they want to find out about the business, they can go to the website and find out about it, okay? And we want to control that narrative. We want people to see everything in the most positive light possible, and so we're going to put the most positive light on that website. And so you'll do that. Other things you might see public relations doing is they're putting out those annual reports, all your financial statements and things like that. We've got to release those, or maybe talking about the future growth of the university or first year growth of the business. You're talking about that. And I know these are all like really positive things, but also public relations has to deal with some of the bad things too. Whether there are scandals or recalls and stuff like that, it's their job to kind of deal with the community, talk to the stakeholders, get the information out there so they're communicating, hence integrated marketing communication. They're communicating with those stakeholders, okay? So you have the public relations side of it. So we've had sales promotions, we've had public relations, and then the third one I want to kind of talk about is actual personal selling. Because the thing is when we're communicating with our clients, a lot of times it's our salespeople. Hey, Mark Wolters, darn good to meet you. Yeah, we have to have that person out there that's talking to the clients. That's, marketing to them, selling to them, learning from them, getting that information. We have all these things where the sales force really is the person of the company, right? And that person is communicating with those clients. Because we're doing this one-on-one marketing between the sales staff and the client. And so that also is communication. So what you'll see is if you go work at a company, I'm sure they're gonna have a handbook of how to talk to your customers, how do you deal with your customers, how you should walk in. I go around to restaurants around the world and they all have the same thing. Good morning, welcome to McDonald's, how may I help you? You're like, everywhere you go, bienvenido a McDonald's. You're like, welcome to McDonald's, awesome. Bienvenido a McDonald's. You're like, willkommen. And you're like, everywhere I go, everyone's welcome to McDonald's. This is so nice. But the thing is they're doing that so people have the same experience with the sales staff, whether you're in Berlin or you're in Bangkok or you're in Boston, right? And even if you go to towns that don't start with B, okay? You're doing that so your personal sales staff and your personal selling is kind of communicating the same version of your brand, the same version of your project everywhere you go. And that's why you spend the time and energy and money to train your sales staff to do the best job possible to represent your company, to say what's good about it and things like that, to let people know about all these sales promotions we have and things like that. So there's a lot of different things that you can do that's not advertising, that is still integrated marketing communication. And I only talked about 3 of them here. There's a lot more out there. So if you want to learn more, I do suggest you watch our video on sales promotions because I go more in depth about all these fun little things back here. Anyway, I wish you all the best. Have a great day. Oh, also, if you want to learn more, you want to watch some more business videos, go see us at ProfessorWolters.com. Bye. Hey there, fellow marketers, Professor Wolters here, and today we're continuing our talk about integrated marketing communications. What we're going to do today is we're going to talk about a part that doesn't involve advertising. Yeah, we're going to talk about sales promotions, and we're looking at sales promotions. We're looking at the different incentives that we give clients so they'll go buy our products. Like how many of you have had BOGO, buy one, get one free? Oh, I didn't want a Big Mac, but if I get 2 for the price of 1, sure, why not? I'll do it. Or maybe you see that, hey, if you become a member today, you'll get 20% off, or you'll get 2 days free shipping, or wait, hey, we got some coupons here, 50% off. What do you think? You have all these different sales promotions you see every single day. Think of all the websites that they're out there that are trying to help you save money. When you buy that pizza, do you have that coupon code? Can you get the free breadsticks and stuff like that? You have to think about those things. And when we look at sales promotion, yes, it is in order to inspire more purchases, but also it can be used in order to drive excitement about our products. Think about it. How many of you are like, oh, Monopoly's on a McDonald's, we gotta go? Or like me, I like to travel a lot. And when I get that deal in the email that says, hey, Delta's got half price tickets to Germany, well, I wasn't thinking about going to Germany this year, but man, for that price, I guess I'll go. And so it gets you kind of excited, gets you wanted to buy. And so you have all these kinds of different kinds of sales promotions. And so what I want to talk about today are some of the typical kind of sales promotions you might see out there within integrated marketing communications, because what we're trying to do is really inspire our channel members to either, work with our customers or just use these things in order to inspire our customers to go. And so I want to go through some of those. And so the first thing I'm going to look at is this, become a member. We're looking at loyalty programs, okay? I know for me, I fly Delta all the time, so I get free upgrades, I get my free bag checked, I get to get on the plane early. They've got me, they've hooked me in, right? Because they're loyalty programs, they're medallion programs. It's worth it to me. So I'll pay more money for that flight with Delta, if it's higher, to fly with them than another airline, okay? Now, the thing for companies that use loyalty programs, these loyalty programs, they're not cheap. They're a high cost. Because think about it, if they upgrade me from my economy ticket that I always buy all the way up to first class, and we're going from a $400 ticket to a $2,000 ticket, they're losing that sale. So it could cost them some money. But what they end up doing is saying, look, that loyalty is worth it because Mark will fly, 50 times a year with Delta, which I think I took 50 flights with Delta last year. It's kind of crazy. And the thing is, it does really inspire loyalty. That's what you want. They keep coming back. Remember when we talked about customer loyalty? Sometimes you pay for it, and loyalty programs, hey, buy 10, get the 11th one free. You're inspiring loyalty for people to come back. Also, you might inspire people to repurchase as well because, hey, look, I've already bought some flights with Delta. Might as well look for some other flights. Where am I going to go for spring break? Where am I going to go for, Thanksgiving? These kind of things. All right. So that's one thing I want to say. Another thing you might look at are contests. How many of you have seen this? It's your chance to win a free trip or your chance to win a new TV or something like that, right? We all get kind of inspired by those contests, like the Monopoly contest, right? We're like, oh, what am I going to win? What am I going to win? Oh, I got a free cheeseburger. Why not? I'll get those. I remember collecting those in the little dashboard of my car back in the day, and I'm like, oh, what's for dinner? Oh, look, I've got fries and I've got a winning milkshake and I got a soda. I got a whole meal of free stuff. I won. So contests really do get some people really excited about our products. And also what's important, it gets them in the store. So I have to go back to McDonald's again to use that Monopoly piece to win it again. So you have those kind of things. And the thing is, these contests really get, customers involved and like, hey, look, I want to make sure I'm getting the pieces. Am I getting stuff there? Am I really going to win? And the thing is, though, if you're going to do contests, you have to monitor it. Okay, if anybody watches the story, I think it's on Netflix, about the McDonald's Monopoly pieces and how people were not being so cool with making sure it's a random win kind of stuff, you can see how, look, we got to make sure that everyone has an equal chance, because think about it. Are you going to go try to win a contest when you know you have no chance to win? Of course not. So you want to be careful with that. Now, another thing you'll see is coupons. And coupons, I know, kind of have this negative reputation. You're in line and somebody whips out like 10 coupons and you're like, oh man, how long is this going to take? It has this kind of like vibe. But the thing is, now coupons, with them being on your phone and stuff like that, they're actually kind of like coming back and stuff. And so you'll see those coupon codes. Maybe use like some add-on on your computer, like Honey, that will find the discount codes and stuff like that. So they're basically coupons. I mean, that's what they are. The thing is, these coupons, they're high cost because, look, if someone uses them, I'm losing part of my sale. If I'm publishing them in the newspaper or sending them out, that can cost us money. So we have to think about that because, things like Groupon, you think it's a good deal for companies to people buy their products. But look, if we're going with Groupon gets part of the sale. So I'm not getting all the sales. So is it really worth it to me to get people to buy that way versus selling myself if I'm losing half the money to Groupon? Now, I'm not saying that's what the half money is going to Groupon. I'm just saying you have to think of the cost you have for using these coupons. But the thing is, these coupons do get people to buy. They inspire people to purchase, which is a really nice thing. But the thing is, coupons, the stores don't really like coupons because here's the thing is, you give them a coupon and then you pay less. So that store has less money for that product they just sold, and then they have to keep that coupon, send it to the retailer, the manufacturer, and then get a check from them later. So I might not get my money for a month or two. I'm like, oh, with that coupon, and my retailer, I don't know if I really like that. And so there's actually another sales promotion you might see, and that is the rebate. The rebate, this is what retailers love, okay? Retailers love rebates because if the person buys the product, right? They have the rebate. It's like, look, you pay full price, so Best Buy gets all the money or the grocery store gets all the money that the price is, and then they say, look, it's on you, customer, to go fill out these forms and get your money back. And so it takes kind of all the work off of the retailer and puts all that onto the client and the manufacturer. So it's kind of nice. And the thing is, if you're a customer, you might pay $100 for that printer, but you get a $99 rebate for it. You're like, hey, that was $1 printer. Though you already paid $100 for it, you think with that rebate coupon, you're like, oh, well, that was only $1. You have to send everything in. I know I got new contacts, and they're like, hey, look, here it's going to be pretty much free because you get this $99 rebate. I'm like, oh, cool. But you got to send everything in. You got to wait till they send you the contacts. Take a picture of the contacts, the EUPCs, proof that you bought it, our information, fill out this form online, send it in, and then they'll send you a Visa gift card for $100. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of work. I kind of like the coupon better when I go here. So you have to kind of think about that. And as a consumer, I'm going to tell you right now, people throw away billions of dollars around the world in rebates because they think, oh, I have the rebate, and then they never actually do it. They never actually use it. But in their mind, they feel like I got the lower price, though I paid full price, but I had that rebate offer. So do be careful with that, okay? Now, the next sales promotion I want to talk about is product placement. Like, Have you ever watched a movie and you're like, all of a sudden Spider-Man's drinking a Dr. Pepper? Or James Bond is asking for, could I get a Heine, please, for a Heineken beer? Or he's driving around in that BMW kind of stuff. You know, you can have product placements where people will see your products in different situations. Because when I think of Dr. Pepper, I think of it in the vending machine, not Spider-Man going, phew, and getting it, right? And so you kind of have to think about those things. And so companies might look to spend their money to get their product shown, just to get in front of the audience, so you might have that. And the thing is, you might use product placements just to show people how to use that product, right? Because think about it, if you got a new product and people aren't sure how it works, you're gonna make sure people see how it works. I remember years and years ago when the iPod came out, there was a movie called Blade 3, and one of the actresses in there, she liked to kill vampires, but she had to have her music playing on her iPod while she was killing vampires. And so they're showing her going through the music, making a playlist, stuff like that. I mean, this was total, if it wasn't product placement, Apple got a lot of stuff for free there. But it was like really showed how it worked. Like, oh, cool, that's how it works. So you might see those things out there. And then, of course, you always have your deals, right? You have your 50% off. And I know this is a coupon, but it also works as, you know, when you see the price, hey, here's a deal, take 50% off, $5 off now. You do have those deals because it inspires people to buy. I mean, how many times you walk by a store that says, oh, going out of business sale, everything must go. Oh, maybe I could get something at a lower price. That might inspire people to go in, okay? Those sale items get people to the store. Hence why you have all those people that line up for the Black Friday deals in November, and you have all the people waiting to click online on Cyber Monday when those deals show up. The thing is, when you do those deals, you have to make sure, will it have a negative effect on our brand? I mean, do I need to have a deal on this TV? Because people are going to buy it anyway. Why am I giving it a deal? Okay, so you have to kind of think about that. Also, think about it in terms of you get a deal on meats. Oh, all of our meat, 50% off. Why is your meat 50% off? Is there something wrong with it? Like, you know, you have to think about the ramifications. And for all these kind of sales promotions, you have to think of these ramifications. That's why I kind of look at some of the metrics of these sales promotions that you really have to think about if you're going to be doing some of these things. Okay, one thing you got to think about is your cost of additional inventory. How much is it going to cost me to have a lot more Big Macs ready to sell if it's buy one, get one free, right? I mean, how much space am I going to take? Also, you might look at it in terms of, hey, if I'm giving this buy one, get one free deal for Big Macs, am I going to cannibalize my sales for cheeseburgers and chicken nuggets? Because think about it, if it's buy one, get one free, even a big guy like me, I'm probably not going to knock back 2 Big Macs. I'll get one and they give one to my kid. And so now I'm not buying that Happy Meal for $3, so they're losing that money out. So you kind of have to worry that if I do these deals, am I cannibalizing sales? You know, the free flights I get from flying all the time are awesome, but the thing is, I'd still buy the tickets anyway because I'm going to go travel, right? So Delta has to do what? Well, what is it worth it for us to do this? We don't know, and so we have to think about the cannibalization of the sales, but also the cost of additional inventory of having those things back in the store when we could have something else there. But also, you look at the ramifications. Hey, what's the potential increase in sales? There could be the good side of it. Hey, we see people coming in to buy those Big Macs, so what does that mean, right? It's going to drive more people in. We're going to sell more ice cream cones or something like that. We have to think about that because on those Black Friday deals for the 90-inch TV for $2, not everyone gets that, right? And so there's all these other things on sale. Will that bring people in to buy? So if you look at the sales promotion of the contest, right? From McDonald's, the Monopoly things, it brings people to the store, so it increases sales because people are there. But one thing I want to talk about, and it's not about McDonald's, it's actually about their competition, Burger King. So one of the things you got to worry about these sales promotions, you have to think about, is there going to be any possible long-term impacts on our brand? Okay? Because if you think about it, I think back to when I was a college student. And it was always 99-cent Whopper, 99-cent Whopper, 99-cent Whopper. So in my mind, a Whopper is only worth 99 cents. And when they stopped that 99-cent Whopper deal and made it $2 or $3 or something like that, my brain was like, wait a minute, I can't pay this much for it because in my mind, it's only worth 99 cents, right? And so you have to kind of think about that. And some stores kind of balance this. There's a store called Joseph A. Banks. It's a men's clothing store. So they sell suits and ties and dress shirts and stuff like that. And the thing is, their prices are a little high. But if you go on any holiday, because if there's whether it's President's Day weekend or Memorial Day weekend or whatever, there's probably going to be a deal where you can get 3 shirts for the price of 1, right? And so people that know the deals know that, look, I'm going to wait until they have that deal because why am I going to pay $99 for 1 shirt when I can pay $99 to get 3 shirts? And so you have to kind of think of that long-term impact that these deals may have, okay? So there's a lot of stuff to consider when you're gonna do sales promotions, but a lot of it really does help your business to get people in the doors and stuff like that and buying the products. And maybe you're just doing buy one, get one free because you're like, look, I've got way too many Big Macs in stock, so when I get rid of them, I mean, maybe not Big Mac's not a good example, but you get my idea. So I hope this helps you have an idea about sales promotions and other ways about integrated marketing communication. There's another video we talk about public relations and other non-advertising integrated marketing communication things that you want to know about. So watch that video to continue on with this. And I think I'm actually going to film it right here in this very shirt, in this very room. So check it out. Bye. Hey there, fellow marketers, Professor Wolters here, and today we're here in Indianapolis, Indiana, and today what we're going to talk about is some of the ethical issues that do come about in integrated marketing communication. And probably the one that probably gets people the most annoyed is actually when you have deceptive advertising. You know, you've seen this in movies when the previews come out and the movie looks so fun, it looks so awesome, and then you go see it and go, that's not the movie I signed up for. I remember a couple years ago, there was the Shazam movie, right? It came out, I saw the previews, and it looked so kid-friendly and so fun. They're doing the floss and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, oh, this would be great to take my kids to. So I went and saw it. And the thing is, they bit a dude's head off, and not one of those little ones where it like looks like and it goes dark when they bite the head off, but like straight up like bites the dude's head off. I'm like, whoa, this isn't for kids. You totally made this sound like a kid's movie, but it's not. So the deceptive advertiser kind of tricking people, promising things that you're not actually going to deliver, that is a really big ethical issue in integrated marketing communications. Because the reason companies do that is because they want to get you excited to buy, and therefore you're going to get the product, and they think that's their job. But you have to realize is deceptive advertising then turns people off. Like, I'm not going to go see any more DC movies with my kids because I'm not going to take the chance no matter how kid-friendly it is. Now, another ethical issue you might see in integrated marketing communication is misleading research. Now, this could be misleading research in terms of what you're saying that the research says or how you kind of do the research in general, because, you know, it's very easy to manipulate data, of course. And so one of the things you might see is like 4 out of 5 dentists prefer this brand of toothpaste, but then you see a commercial just afterwards that say 2 out of 3 dentists prefer this toothpaste. Wait a minute, 2/3 and 4/5, that's way more than 1. So what's going on here? The thing is, there might be other stuff out there that kind of misleads people. Like, oh, well, we actually did this research with dentists and in the city where that company is actually located. So that could be influencing things out there. So you got to be very careful with that because, you know, if I say, well, 4 out of 5 dentists prefer kids to eat candy, well, the thing is dentists prefer kids going to the dentist office to get their money and stuff like that, right? So we want them to eat candy, so they come to the dentist office more often. So that's not really, dentists don't want the kids eating candy, but, you know, hey, I got to pay the bills, so bring more kids into the dental office. So those kind of things kind of turn people off. Also, another thing that's an ethical issue out there is the idea that marketing really increases consumerism, like it makes people want to buy. You know, remember 10 years ago it was YOLO, you only live once, be inspired, go do this today, come on. And so that would get people to buy more, very much a commercialism kind of thing. And the YOLO has changed to more of the FOMO, fear of missing out. You don't want to be the one friend that doesn't have this product. You don't want to be this one friend that doesn't go to the concert or the whatever. And it doesn't matter that maybe they can't afford it, they're going to put it on their credit card bills, stuff like that. The point is they're inspiring you to buy when maybe you shouldn't be buying or a person shouldn't be buying. So that is one of the kind of ethical issues you do see in marketing. Now, another one you might actually see if you go to a social media site or anywhere is invading consumer privacy. And this could be maybe you're getting too many robocalls. Like, I'm surprised my phone hasn't gone off while I'm filming this because I get so many robocalls, too much direct mail in your mail, things like that. That's a bit too much. But also you might look at in terms of invasion of privacy when they use too much information to try to sell you stuff. Have you ever been on Facebook or something like that and the stuff you were just looking at eBay or Amazon is on the ad that shows up there on the side of your Facebook feed? You're like, whoa, that's really weird. I mean, how do you feel about that? These privacy issues are something like when marketers are taking too much information that maybe people didn't want to share or don't want other people to know and use that to sell them things. Now, the next one I want to talk about is actually when they don't kind of release all the safety issues or safety concerns that might be with a product. Do you ever wonder why whenever there's a medicine commercial or a drug commercial on TV, like half the commercial is some of the side effects? Because they have to let people know these are the safety issues that are going to happen with this product, with this medicine. And not everyone releases all the safety things. Like, you know, if you're going to go ride a roller coaster, realize if you got back problems, you could be a lot of pain. If you got heart problems, you could have heart problem issues. Like, there's just issues that go along with this that you need to know about before you do do it. And that's why you'll see like the exercise companies and stuff like that. They always say, make sure you check with your doctor to make sure you're physically able to do these exercise programs. They do that because they're trying to let you know about the safety issues, because they don't want to say, yeah, if you're going to do CrossFit, most likely you're going to pull some kind of muscle and hurt your back and something like that because you're doing these crazy exercises. We're not going to say that. We'll let your doctor talk about that. There could be issues out there like that. And so you want to make sure you're disclosing all those safety issues, because if you don't, then that's kind of a really big ethical issue that's out there. So my last issue with integrated marketing communications is when companies are not sincere with their efforts, when they're trying to fix something, when they're trying to do something. It might be, look, we've done all this work to clean up downtown Indianapolis, so it can be great for you to be there, which is nice. And if they want to do that to make Indianapolis a better city, it's actually a really cool city to come visit, that's great. But if they're doing that because, we want to do that so we get the free advertising, well, that's not really the whole deal with it. So you might want to look more in depth when companies are doing things, because some companies do a lot of great work out there, and do help their communities and build stuff up. But other companies, hey, it's a court order to make them do something to be nice. So you kind of want to look into that. So it's kind of like, are you really making a sincere effort with your integrated marketing communications to do these things, to let people know, And that's one thing you got to kind of think about. And there's other ethical issues that do come about with integrated marketing communication, but I just want to give you some of the basic ones that I like to talk about. And I wish you all the best. And if you come to Indianapolis, there's some really good museums here, by the way. Anyway, all the best from Indianapolis. Bye.
www.woltersworld.com.
Thanks, Caleb. Hi guys, Mark here with Wolters World, and we're on the campus of the University of Illinois in front of Follinger Auditorium, having a very nice time here in this beautiful December day. Look, I'm not even in a jacket. Who knew that could happen at Illinois? Anyway, what we're going to talk about today is advertising, and basically the overall idea of what advertising is, some of the key facets of it, what are the kind of types of advertising that are out there, these kind of things. Because a lot of people feel that advertising and marketing are the same thing, and they're not. They both have a lot of similarities that go into it, but they're just tiny similarities when there's a lot more to the marketing beast and the advertising beast themselves. Now, what we're going to focus on, if you want to look at where they connect, if you look at marketing, marketing has these 4 P's: product, price, place, and promotion. That 4th P, that promotion, that's where they link up to advertising. Because promotion, communication, well, that's what advertising is. It's communicating an idea. It's communicating a message out to our customers. Okay, and if we look at like the 4 key facets of advertising, or what advertisements are, basically you look at one, the key thing is it's persuasive communication. You're trying to persuade people to maybe buy your product, buy Coke, or you're trying to persuade them to believe in your cause. Hey, we have our Movember, check your balls public service announcement here on Wolters World, and we're trying to sell or communicate or persuade you to check your balls. Make sure you don't have testicular cancer, these kind of things, all right? So there's all kinds of things out there, but basically it is persuasive communication, getting people to do something. Another thing you have to look at is advertising isn't free, it's something you have to pay for, okay? Another thing you look at it is it has to come in some form of medium, okay? Whether it is an internet spot or a TV spot or on radio or advertisements, or even if you put it on a t-shirt, like Wolters World, which make good Christmas gifts, just saying. Okay, you have to have some medium that you're communicating with the customers, okay, and to transmit your idea. And then also with advertising, where the message is coming from must be known. So if you look at political advertisements, at the end, it always says, this message was sponsored by tax-free Americans, or Americans for less taxes, or whatever. They're saying where the message is coming from. So those are the key facets, like background facets you have to look at when you look at advertising. Now, if you're looking to develop your advertisements, I talked about the marketing side, those 4 P's. Well, guys, it's good to know the 4 P's of marketing for advertising, because these are things you can communicate in your advertisements, okay? If you know the product, which is the value creation kind of thing, we know the values that this product creates, well, then we can sell those. We can put that in our advertisements so people can buy it for those reasons. Now, if we look at the types of advertisements that are out there, there's 3 main kinds of advertisements. One is called informative advertising. Basically, if your product just comes out, if you go to the product life cycle, you look at the introduction phase, you're looking at, hey, we're trying to tell people what our product is, inform them about it, build brand awareness, these kind of things. So when Coke comes out with a new flavor, they have a lot of commercials to inform you, hey, we have it out there. Or if you look at retailers, they have, hey, we have our Christmas sales. We're trying to inform people about it, hence why it's called informative advertising. The second kind you have is what's called persuasive advertising. This comes out in the growth and maturity phase of the product life cycle because you're having a lot more competition, so you're trying to persuade people to buy your product versus somebody else's out there. So you may say, hey, you know, our cleaning stuff cleans 2 times as fast as the leading brand. Okay, so you're trying to persuade people to switch to you. Another thing, in the maturity phase, the decline phase, you have the third type of advertising, which is reminder advertising. We're not trying to get people to try it for the first time. We're just trying to remind people to buy it again and again. Coca-Cola does this because, you know, look, I ask, if I interview my students, I have 700 students, I ask, how many people have never had a Coke? There were 2 people out of 700 that never had a Coke. So obviously Coca-Cola's commercials are not about getting that first-time Coke user. They're reminding people to buy again and again, okay? So those are 3 main types of advertising. Now, if you look at how advertising focuses on different things, you have what's called institutional advertisements, which is we're selling Kellogg's brand cereals or Coca-Cola brand products. This overall institution, we're selling the idea. Boeing does this with their advertisements. They talk about how safe their planes are. They don't say, you know, 747, they just say Boeing in general. Okay, so that's an institutional advertisement. Then you have what's called a product focus advertisement, which deals with a specific product. So when you have a commercial that just says, ooh, I'm enjoying my Coke Zero, glug, 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 glug. Coke Zero is so great, you should get Coke Zero. They're focusing on a product focus advertisement. So we're trying to sell one kind of product, all right? And then you have social marketing, or your public service announcements. These are another kind of advertisements. And what's cool is if you're a company and you do good things, why don't you let people know? Radio stations, TV stations, they have to have public service announcements. So if you're putting on a food drive like the Eastern Illinois Food Bank, they're trying to raise money or get more food to help families at the holidays, well, you can put that on the air and say, hey, this is sponsored by Marks County Market or whatever. You have these kind of things, and it helps promote your brand because it shows you're helping things. Okay, now, when you're looking at devising your advertisements, you need to have an appeal. What are we going to get to? What's going to hook the people into buying it? So if we look at the appeal that our advertisements need to have, or what's the hook? What's going to get people to buy our products from reading these advertisements? There's 2 main ways you look at it. One, there's informational appeals, and then there's emotional appeals. Now, informational appeals, you're talking about your product benefits or your product attributes that make people want to buy. Our batteries last twice as long as the leading competitors. Our toothpaste makes it twice as shiny. Okay, you're telling about your product and its benefits, and that informs people so they can make a better decision. They'll buy on that. Learn about Lisbon with Wolters World. But let's be honest, most people buy on an emotion. That's why sex sells. That's an emotional appeal. We're trying to sell the sexiness. Hey, if you have an Apple product, you're going to be cool. Well, that is an emotional appeal. We're appealing to people's desires, whether it is to look sexy, whether it is to be cool, whatever it is, we're appealing to that. We're using their emotion to get them to buy our products.
Learn about Lisbon with Wolters World.
Now, when we've got our appeal, we've got our message, we've got all of our advertisements out there, we have to figure out, we have to figure out what's our schedule going to be. Are we going to have an advertisements all the time? Do we just have it at certain times of the year? Do we mix it up? Well, there's 3 main kinds of scheduling for advertising or advertising schedules. One is continuous advertising. This might be pretty simple. You continuously advertise throughout the year. You have, Coca-Cola has Coca-Cola commercials all around the year, no matter when it is. Again and again and again, whatever month it is, they're selling Coca-Cola. And so if you see a product that people buy all year round, hey, that's great. Okay. Now, other people, they only advertise their products at certain times of the year. So if you have your monster cereals, the Frankenberry and Boo Berry and all those kind of things, they only sell them at Halloween time. Or at the holidays, you'll have Crunchberry or these kind of things you promote more. Or, with Coca-Cola, they have their Santa Claus advertising campaign that only comes out at the holidays. So you have these things. And that kind of only once a year kind of thing, those are called flighting advertisements. Okay, it's a flighting schedule. And then sometimes you have a mix of the two, like, because basically Coke has continuous and flighting, so when you mix those together you have what's called pulsing. So you have your normal advertising throughout the year, and then certain times you put more advertisements out there. Great example of that is Toys R Us, toy stores. Yes, they advertise toys all year round, but then at Christmas time, obviously, what do? Hey, come get more toys, 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 toys. They have a special campaign just for that. And you may see for each one of these different kind of schedules you might have completely different commercials for each one. And the thing is, when you look at these ads, you want to make sure they're understandable. You don't want to confuse people, and that will help out a lot more to get your advertising to be more successful and get people to get your advertising to be more persuasive, because if they understand what it is, they're more likely to buy. So I hope that helped you with the basics of advertising. I know there's a lot of stuff out there in this video, but I hope it helps. If you have any other questions on marketing or advertising or whatever, please leave a comment below, and we hope you'll like and follow us here on YouTube. Also, we're on Twitter and Facebook, so we'll see you around. Bye from Wolters World here at the University of Illinois. Bye.
www.woltersworld.com.
Thanks, Caleb.
Learn about Lisbon with Wolters World.
All right.